morning. Oh my Lord, wake up, y'all awake? Good morning. Welcome to the School of Fernando County. My name is Shane Spencer. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I'm late, and I hate to be late, so I apologize to you. Well, because we have to be safe and secure in this building. Who said, why am I late? Yeah, see? Don't be smart if you can't back it up now. Let me tell you a secret. I'm gonna tell you why we're late. I'm gonna tell you why you're late. Bobby, where you at? That man right there, Miss Eleanor, where you at? That lady right there, under their blue coats, they have that thing called a gun and cuffs. And if you come to my courtroom sassing me like that, they put them cuffs on you. Put your gun in your back of your neck, take you back there at that back door. So who wants to know why I'm late? I'm late because I had to make sure the room was safe and secure. Y'all go to the metal detectors downstairs? Y'all empty your pockets? Take your weed out? Justin, are you still here? Okay, we'll find out. I'm late because we had to go to the metal detector downstairs because this building is secure and safe every day, all day, because we do real court business in here. We'll do that later today. I digress, let me back up. Welcome, everybody, welcome. Glen Burnie, where y'all at? For the first time I'm seeing y'all. Welcome, thank you for coming, you gophers. Where you at, Arundel? Maybe it's the Hoods class. Yeah, I'm ready for y'all today. I got some stuff for y'all. Yeah, yep. Chesapeake, y'all back there? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a full courtroom today, so bear with me. I'm here because we have a program, the team behind me, there's a lot of them, have a program to offer to you today, present to you about some things. I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, we're gonna do some fun stuff. I want you to engage us. There are lawyers back here behind me, there are officers, police officers, there are admin staff back here, there are probably chemists somewhere in the courtroom, there are investigators in this courtroom, there are support staff, there are victim witness advocates in this building. We do a lot of things. It's not just law and order, cops and robbers stuff. But we're here today because we're going to make a presentation to you that we've found to be important to you right now in your lives. By that I mean we want you to help making some good choices going forward. We are not the fun police. Now the police, they are back there. And they're going to do their job today in this courthouse, but they're not the fun police, nor am I, nor the team that I'm assembled with. And I call it a team because, listen to me now, this is how I equate it or analyze it. I am part of this team back here, but we all want to work together. You're going to see how to work together real well today. And you guys are here because I believe, based on what I've read from your teachers and from your admins, your principals, that you guys are the leaders of your school. Now, doesn't mean that you necessarily do what I do or do what I want to do, but you do what you do it well. We are here because I have the benefit of working with a team outside of just this courthouse. By that I mean we are in the district court, which is the judiciary, but also you are part of the school system. Whether you go to Creek, whether you go to Glen Burnie, whether you go to Chesapeake or Arundel, you're still part of our educational system. And because we have the benefit of working together with Chief Judge Morrissey, who's here, address you in a minute, and Ms. Jackson, who's the Deputy Superintendent, we have the benefit of having this program together, and they are part of this team. They allow us, essentially, to have a day off. I should be working, I am, theoretically, doing my day job, but today I have a field trip. My team's all here, I get to hang out with them, they're my friends. I'm not doing what I do, get paid every day, because Chief Judge Morrissey, wherever he went to, and Ms. Jackson allowed me to do this with this team. Before we go any further, I want them to appreciate what you do and tell you why they think this is important, because it's important that you know that they are part of this program and they are in favor of it. Ms. Jackson, would you address the students for me, please, ma'am? Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. As was alluded to earlier, my name is Monique Jackson, and I have the pleasure of serving the students of Anne Arundel County as one of 2 deputy superintendents. So my greetings this morning are on behalf of Dr. Arlotto and Dr. McMahon. And we, again, want to welcome you, but we also want to thank Judge Morrissey for affording our students the opportunity to engage in this activity through the strong leadership of Judge Spencer. This is amazing. I was a former social studies teacher, and you all engage in labs, for example, in biology class, where you're able to use real-world application to further your social scientists, this is your real-world application. And so with that, I want to challenge you today. And my challenge to you is that during today's activities, I'd like for you to participate appropriately. I'd like for you to make sure that you are gaining a greater understanding, just like you do in that bio lab, where you're asking questions, you're using that lab to the best of your experience to gain greater knowledge. I want you to use today's experience to do the same. So again, welcome to you all. Thank you to all of the amazing people in our judiciary, and especially to Judge Morrissey, Chief Judge Morrissey and Dr. Arlotto and Judge Spencer for everything that they have done to make today possible. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. I want to piggyback on what Ms. Jackson just said. That's a great analogy. It's like a lab. You know, science lab, you guys have hands-on, you do things. You do, I don't know what you do in chemistry anymore, but you mix things in beakers and stuff, I think. I don't remember. I forget. But this is a hands-on experience. There are going to be many speakers today. We're going to do lots of things that I think are going to be fun, but also educational and informative. Ask questions, appropriate questions. Engage the lawyers, engage the officers, engage the judge, that judge. Engage the staff. We're all here. This is all possible, or made possible for you to have a hands-on experience. I want you to see what happens in a real courthouse, in a real courtroom, not see it on TV. This is real life stuff. The cases you're going to hear today, at some point you're going to hear cases, right, Mr. Adams? Hear cases today?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to hear real cases today. I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe he does, but you're going to see it, and you're going to live it. If you have a question about it, at the end, ask them questions. As Ms. Jackson said, this is made possible because Dr. Arlotto allows it, but Chief Judge Morrissey allows it as well. By that, I mean this program, Glen Burnie, I've been doing this for 4 years. I've never seen you guys here. I'm happy. That's possible because Judge Morrissey, Chief Judge Morrissey, allows us to do that. We did it twice a year for about 10 years. You see the courtroom's full. We're doing great things. I think Mr. Hood's spreading the word over there, because you guys are here all the time. But Chief Judge Morrissey allows us to do it 4 times a year now. Last year, we were awesome. We had all 12 public schools in the county here at least once. That's our goal. Creek, this is your second time. Coach Cook has done fabulous things to engage, and I appreciate the time you guys made to come see us. Make it work for you today, though. Ask the questions. Engage us, the people in this in this courtroom. Before we go further, though, let me ask Judge Morrissey to say words about how this is important to him and to us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Judge.
Chief.
Good morning, everyone. That was kind of lukewarm, wasn't it? Good morning, everybody. You're going to have to participate. You see the seats up here? I guess you guys weren't, you see Stella. So I'll get to that in just a minute. But welcome. You're at the Sweeney District Court building here in Anne Arundel County. It's named Sweeney because there's been 5 chief judges of the district court since its inception in 1971. I'm the 5th. Judge Sweeney was the 1st. He had 90 days in order to create a court system out of a hodgepodge of municipal courts and town courts, and he had to figure out where to put those courts, and we're a statewide system here in the district court, so we range all the way from Oakland and Garrett County, which I was at yesterday, which is 6.5 hours away from here, to Ocean City, Maryland, where we have 2 courts down there. One in Ocean City, you've probably seen it on about 67th Street, and then one all the way down at the county seat in Snow Hill. Garrett, by the way, Oakland and Garrett County is closer to Ohio than it is to Ocean City, so you can see we have 34 courthouses in the district court. We have 2 here in Anne Arundel County, this building, the Sweeney building, and then one in Glen Burnie. And so I'm the administrative judge in charge of 118 judges throughout the state. We have over 2,000 employees, our clerks, the backbone of what we do every day. And so it's a tremendous undertaking. We process more than 2 million cases a year in the district court statewide, and we have over 4 million visitors. Hopefully none of you have ever been here before. Can I have a show of hands of who's been here before? Don't raise your hand. That's one of those lessons you should learn early on. My father always used to say, if you stick your hand in a bucket of you-know-what, you don't pick it up and say, hey, everybody, look what I did. You simply wash off your hand and go about your business, right? Hopefully you've been here. If you have been here, you've only been here for good things. So my son happens to be here today. He is a junior at Indian Creek. Will, could you just, he knew I was going to do this. Okay, he can, he didn't want to come. He said he's heard me talk so much about the district court that he knows everything that could possibly be known about the district court. And I promised not to embarrass him here today, so I won't pick on him at all. I didn't promise that Judge Spencer wouldn't do it, but I won't. But what I didn't tell Will, that I wasn't going to show our puppy Stella, who's a St. Bernard puppy. This is her at 8 weeks old. She is now about 1.5 years old, and she weighs almost 140 pounds. So she's grown greatly. I also didn't promise to Will that I wouldn't show him at batting practice. So he was worried I would have shown him one whiffing, right? I picked out one where he got a hit on it. And I also didn't promise Will that I wouldn't show a picture of us on vacation, right? That's him. But I'm sorry, Will. To level the playing field, I figured it appropriate to show an awful picture of myself and my young wife when we were, I think I am 19 years old in this picture. The reason why I'm showing this picture is because when I was 19 years old, I thought this was a really good look, right? I thought I was cool. That black and white sweater, man, I thought I was the best. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit, was that sometimes when you're 16 and 17 and 18, things that you think are really cool, when you reflect at 25 or 30 or at 52, don't look so cool anymore, right? But those can have lasting effects. You can see a picture taken when I was 19 is now being shown to a room of strangers when I'm 52. I know I'm doing it to myself, but somebody else could do this, right? And I don't think I'd want this in the Washington Post, picturing me when I was 19 years old. So I'm just going to use one little example of what I mean by decision making. That's kind of what today's about, right? What decisions you make at 16 can have profound effects as you get older. So suppose you leave the courthouse today. Who drives here? Can I get it? This is an okay, raise your hand. Who has their driver's license and drives? Pretty soon, most of you are going to be doing that, right? I'm assuming everybody wants to drive. I know I did when I was 16. I couldn't wait to get my license. But suppose you leave out of this court and you drive away today. And you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden you see the lights come on behind you, and an officer pulls you over. And as you're being pulled over, you remember, uh-oh, I got a speeding ticket about 6 months ago, and I forgot to pay that speeding ticket or go to court and challenge it. So, and then you remember something seeing coming in the mail that maybe you picked out of the mail before your parents saw it, that was from the MVA, that said something about your license was suspended because you didn't pay that traffic ticket, right? And so the officer pulls you over, and then you've gone from having a payable traffic ticket, maybe for speeding or running through a red light or something like that, to now driving on a suspended license, which can carry 1 year in jail and a $1,000 fine. And it's an arrestable offense, meaning the police officer can take you into custody if that's what that police officer chooses to do. And so the police officer comes up to you, and they ask for your license and registration, and you forgot your license, right? So you're already starting to get under the skin of the police officer, because now he doesn't know who you are, and he doesn't know whether you're in possession of that car rightfully or not, and he doesn't know whether you have weapons in the car, and he doesn't know if you have drugs in the car, and he doesn't know what you're going to do next, right? So now the police officer's in a heightened sense of alertness, and he's concerned about what's going on. So he goes back, and he's going to try to figure out who you are. You tell him who you are, but he needs to go back and verify, and he'll pull it up on his computers. But because of all these things, the police officer has a choice. He can either write you a citation for driving on a suspended license, or he can let you go. But police officer decides that because you didn't have your license on you, and you didn't pay your ticket before, and you failed to respond to the MVA, that he's going to arrest you. You're going to be brought right back to this building downstairs in the basement. I brought my son Will and his buddy Liam downstairs to see where the commissioners work in the basement of this building. And if anybody wants to on their way out, we'll be happy to show you. But that's where you get brought, and you'll be handcuffed and leg shackled, and you'll be brought in front of a judicial officer that's down there, and that person's job is two things. They need to determine whether the police officer was justified in arresting you in the first place. That's called finding probable cause, right? You guys have heard probable cause before. That means, is it likely that this occurred, and did it occur the way the police officer said it? Does it all make sense, kind of thing? And do I believe that a criminal law has been broken as the result of this? And if they find that there is probable cause, that commissioner then has to make a decision as to whether they're going to detain you until the date of your trial, which can be 60 to 90 to 120 days later, depending on the type of charge. Or are they going to let you go? Or are they going to let you go with some type of restrictions, right? What we call pretrial restrictions, where someone would monitor you, or you'd have an ankle bracelet. You've seen those kind of things on TV before. I'm hoping no one has had an ankle bracelet on. Has anybody had an ankle bracelet on? You guys are getting the idea. You wouldn't have raised your hand for that one, right? You shouldn't have. So regardless of what happens, regardless of whether you're let out or you're detained, think about being detained, okay? You could be detained for 60 days. No iPhone, no iPad, no videos, no TV, no ice cream. They dictate what food you eat. They dictate what time you go to bed. It's an awful experience, right? If any of you, I've been to every single detention center in the state, and they're awful places. I never want to go back. I never want to step foot in any one of them. Even when I was an attorney and I would have to meet my clients in jail, I didn't like the feeling of being confined behind bars, even though I knew I was going to get out. So regardless of whether the judicial officer, the commissioners, and I have almost 300 of them spread out throughout the state. They work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, even in snowstorms and when the court's otherwise closed. And they'll see you and decide whether they're going to let you go. But even if you're let go, you're probably going to have to hire an attorney, right? Who's going to pay for that? Are you guys going to pay for that? Will, do you have money to pay for an attorney? He'd use, I have 3 brothers that are attorneys, but I forbid them from representing him. But, so in your schoolwork is still going to have to be done, right? And if you play sports, you're still going to have to go to your sports, but you're going to have to go back to trial. And suppose you go back to trial, or you miss your court date when you go back to trial, you're going to get rearrested. And this time the commissioner's not going to let you out. He's going to hold you for those 60 to 90 days. That's how you get held for 60 to 90 days, because you miss a court date. But you're going to have to hire an attorney. Your life's going to be disrupted. So the reason why I'm pointing all this out is because you can see that the hypothetical example that I made, the person made a mistake, right? Speeding. You want to not speed. It costs you money, but people speed. I speed. Judge Spencer speeds. The police officers speed. We all have done it in the past. I challenge anyone in this room to claim that they haven't, right? So those kind of things happen. That's a relatively minor circumstance that happens to you. But you need to resolve that. You cannot ignore things like that, because if you ignore things like that, they get to be bigger problems. Your MVA license is suspended then. And if you ignore that MVA suspension, then it becomes a jailable event all of a sudden. So you've gone from just having a speeding ticket that maybe would have cost you $90 to pay, and that would have been it, to now you're looking at going to jail. And if you fail to show up for jail, now the police are going to come get you in your home and arrest you out of your home or school or wherever they find you, even if it's in the middle of the night, and do it. So these decisions that you're going to make, and they don't just apply to driving, they apply to everything that you do. You will make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're human beings. Don't let those mistakes keep piling up, because those are the things that are going to affect you. If you end up having some type of criminal record, doors are closed to you that otherwise wouldn't have been closed. I could not be chief judge of this court today if I had a criminal record, right? Who would have hired me to do this? I probably couldn't even have been an attorney, because they have a screening system for attorneys that if you don't have the moral character to become an attorney, then you won't be an attorney, and you'll carry those things like convictions around with you for the rest of your lives. Some of them you can't get undone. So try to consider that as we go through today. You're going to have some fun. I'm not going to talk anymore because the next part is the best part of the whole program, in my opinion. But before I end, I would like to thank Judge Spencer. Gave me a lot of credit for allowing him to do this. I haven't allowed him to do this. I'm encouraging him to do this because I really like this program. And any credit that I take, which I do take all the time, is really Judge Spencer's credit, but I'm still going to take the credit because that's what I do as the Chief Judge. There are also some other great presenters here. The Anne Arundel County Public School System has been a great partner in this. I thank the management from Indian Creek for allowing us to do this. We started, Judge Spencer's child goes to Indian Creek also, so we asked them last year if they'd consider coming to this program, and they were gracious enough to come because we think we have a really good program here. So hopefully the takeaway that you leave here today is that you'll see kind of the inner workings of how the court happens. You're going to see people get sentenced today, and you'll see them go out that door, and it's real. This isn't made up. We have cases that are very real. So try to keep in the back of your mind, this isn't where you want to be. This isn't what you're going to do. Take care of those small issues before they become big issues, and I hope you all enjoy and have a very pleasant day. Thank you. Can you take my picture off?
It's always hard following Chief Judge Morrissey for several reasons. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to ask you to ask me at the end why. He's my boss, so let's not mess this up. Hook a brother up, all right? The man's in the room. He's the one who signs my checks, make sure I get a job every day. So let's make sure we do this right, first off. Second off, he said some things I actually will tell you I disagree with, but it's okay. He and I disagree all the time. This part is awesome, the show that he's going the part of the show that we're going to show you in momentarily, but it's all awesome to me. He said something I want to follow up on. You're going to make some choices and decisions in your life, and you're going to mess them up. You're going to make a mistake. Own it. Own it right away. Don't hide from it. He said it. I'm going to be more blunt. Own that mistake, and then make it right. You're going to make choices that will make you stand out, that are going to make things happen in your life, good and bad. If it's a bad mistake, I told you, stand up and own it. Make it right. You're going to choose to do some things that are going to bring or draw attention to you. Then you got to figure that part out too. Someone over here asked why I was late. I appreciate that. I don't want to be late. Sadly, is that when you asked that question, all eyes in the back of that room over there were right on you. And then when my boss was speaking over here, there was some laughing and goofing on about the picture the man put up there, and then all eyes went back on you. I was here last, was it 2 times ago that there was the young man in the back of the courtroom? Remember this? He was in the back of the courtroom, and he was laughing and giggling, and he was the one talking about the air fresheners. Remember that one? I would tell you a secret, and I guess it's more problematic for you Creek people than the rest of you, but I will forget your name by the end of the day today because I hear hundreds of cases every single day of my life. But there's some things I just don't forget in my line of work, and it's a face. I may not know your name on the street. I may not see you for a month or two. I may see you in Walmart or Costco or Safeway, but I'm going to know your face. And I'm going to know where I saw you from because it's in my mind all the time. Why am I late? Well, because Mr. George, Bobby's job is to make sure this courtroom's safe. At the end of the day, someone has to put somebody in jail if they choose to do so. That's the judge who sits up there. Sometimes it's Judge Morrissey. Sometimes my colleagues down the hall. Sometimes I have to do that. Worst part of my job, I'll tell you that right now. But when I do that, some folks leave angry. And I look them in the face and say, it wasn't my fault. I didn't choose to do that, bro. I'm not the dude who walked in there and stole the candy bar. Y'all see my man Ball in China? You saw about that? You see that? That dude coming home? Who thinks coming home? You're right, he ain't coming home, he's in China. He stole a bag in China, and his brother's a millionaire. Bad choice, I think. Bad choice. Didn't you tell me you drive? You didn't tell me nothing? My bad. Didn't you tell the man you drove?
I told him nothing. I just raised my hand.
Oh. That speaks volumes for me. You got a license?
No.
Can I see it?
I don't.
You don't have a license? No. So you drive illegally? McKay, you drove? So you don't drive? You don't got a license? Hold on.
Judge Spencer, you think he's telling the truth or not?
Anybody got a pen? You in Mr. Hood's class? No. Whose class are you in? I don't know. All right. Can I see you for a minute? What's your name?
Montre
Montre what?
McKesson.
McKesson. How you spell your last name?
McKesson.
Hey, Alan, you log in MVA for me, please? You drive?
No.
You got a license? You got a license?
No.
You logging in? You got any points to your license?
Oh, nigga, I don't have a license.
Oh, all right, you can say it. Didn't he tell you you had a license, Chief?
I thought I saw him raise his hand.
Oh, my bad. See, here, you know what he did? You know what he did? He said, do you drive? The man raised his hand. Now, let me ask you a question. When you think that Officer McKay sees him on the street driving, is he going to let him go? He's going to pull him over immediately and run his name because he probably don't have no license. Anybody else here drive over here? You drive? You got a license? Is it valid? You got any points? No. What's your name? Brendan? You go to Chesapeake? You're a cougar? See that dude up there, the bald head dude up there in the brown? Justin, he's a cougar too. He's proud cougar graduate. Come here, man, come here. You wanna drive my car? You wanna drive my car?
Can I?
Yeah, I'll let you.
No.
Why?
I don't know.
How about Chief Judge Morris's car? He has a nice car. He's the boss, he has big money. You wanna drive his car?
No, thank you.
You don't wanna drive?
No.
Why? The heck? You wanna drive? My car? I'll let you. Oh, now we're talking. Sit down, man. What's your name? Debris. How are you? I'm Shane. You want to drive my car? What kind of car is it? Does it matter? Yeah. Oh, wow. Now my feelings are hurt, Debris. Come on. It's a nice one. It has 4 wheels, steering wheel. It smells good. I got a nice system. It's a Chevy. Oh, my Lord. She said no to the Chevy. What if I said it was a BMW? Oh, my Lord. Why? You drive a Land Rover every day. What do you do for a living? Chief, can I get a raise?
We got to talk to the legislature about that one, Judge Spencer.
My Lord. Anybody want to drive my car? I'm going to drive my car. What's your name? Sheldon? Do you have a license? I have my license. You have it? Come here, Sheldon. Let me see you, man. Oh, Lord. Ask him about that. It's Virginia license. Ask about changing the MBA address. Sit down, sit down, sit down. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Sit down. Right here, right here. Come here, Sheldon. Look, this is my car. Yeah, Sheldon. Is it not? Sit. Feel good? Comfortable seats? Seat comfortable? Yeah. Here, hold that, hold that. You're gonna be the driver. Oh, yeah. Anybody over here know Sheldon? Oh, y'all know Sheldon? Now look at y'all. Look at y'all. Y'all know Sheldon? You wanna go ride for Sheldon? What's your name? Skylar?
Come on, I'm a
Cougar?
driver.
Come on, girl. All right, Sheldon, meet Skylar. Skylar's my friend Sheldon. Wherever you want.
I'll sit next to you.
Yeah.
That was good. See,
Sheldon and Skylar. Chillin'. Glen Burnie, where y'all at? Any of y'all know Sheldon and Skylar? No. And y'all want to meet them? No. Thank you. Now I got some friends. Y'all don't want to know nobody? What's your name? Jaden, come here. You want to go for a ride with me? I mean, Sheldon and Skylar. Come on. I'm Shane. Good to see you. Come on. I got Sheldon and Skylar and Jaden just cruising. Huh. Where y'all going to go?
I don't know.
All right, get in. Don't worry about it. Arundel, y'all want to go for them? Huh?
We got another Jaden. He's perfect.
Right here?
Yeah.
You mean the one eating candy in your courtroom, Bobby George? Come here, Jaden. Come on, sit over here. Come on. You know what he does? Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Take it out of your mouth, put it in the tissue, man. Come on, Jaden, have a seat. Yeah. Sheldon, where y'all gonna go? got a free pass. Cook's gonna stay here. He can't leave, so you can go. Just go. You go home? All right, I mean, where do you live? All right, feel free. What? Why are you always in the man's business?
That was the first thing I thought, too.
So, McKay's already on that, Joker. Y'all like music?
Me?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find some music. What kind of music you like?
Yeah.
Who? Trap. What is that? Tell me, because I don't know. Let me see something. I'm going to see how long it takes you to find this song. This is my kind of music. Am I going to be a cop when they grow up? Law enforcement officer? You do? Come here, man. Come here. You still haven't named this artist yet? What? That's my man. That's my man. Chuck Brown right there, the go-go. I do him PG with him and him. You want to be a cop? A lawyer. You be law enforcement though, right? You should be like DA or something. Come here, man. Why don't you be the dude posting low? Look, man. You gotta get up behind him and get him though, all right? You ready?
I was driving in my car one day. I saw a sexy lady walk
drive
my
that
way.
Come on.
A banging body and a pretty face.
Yeah, baby. Oh!
I really love
You got better than me?
dress to fly your
All right, get behind him. Put the car behind him. Sheldon, what are you looking forward? The heck? Why are you looking at me?
shorty took a look into my eyes. Said she heard I was
Are you
a
steering?
pretty guy. Hit and run the Georgie Porgy tide. You like to kiss the girls and make them cry.
Uh-oh.
I told her don't believe the hype 'cause I'm cool.
Cop can't pull you up? He hit you? No, he didn't touch you yet. I'm sorry. Uh-oh, back the car up. Oh, man. Maybe we should back it up. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Officer McKay, I saw his car swerving. You see it? Oh, no. All right, park the car, dude. Let's see what happens. Park that joker.
Park that.
All right. Let's stand back. Officer McKay, that car was swerving.
How you doing?
Hello.
Good.
213, can you wrap up Officer McKay?
Oh,
That's
God.
the one you brought Wolhart.
Do you have your license on you?
Yeah.
All right. Do you know why I stopped you?
No.
No. You know, high crime neighborhood. We just had a homicide here last night. Do you know anything about that?
Nope.
Why are you here?
Driving home.
Driving home.
Yeah.
It's a dead end road.
Interesting.
No. You here to buy drugs?
No.
No. You sure? You sure about that?
Yep.
All right. Step out of the car. Come talk to me.
Oh, wow.
Do you have a license? Where is it? Back up a little bit. Why are you so close?
Officer McKay, you okay?
Temple, I'm gonna give you two names for us. One on checklist. Do you have a license?
Sorry,
sir?
no, no.
Do you have ID on you? No. No. Let's see, last name is gonna be Milson. Mary Ida Lincoln Lincoln, Ida Sam Ocean Nora, first name Sheldon. Sam Henry Edward Lincoln, David Ocean Nora, middle name Ira.
Hey, gentlemen, while we're doing this,
His date of birth.
he's running that name right there. You know that, right?
4/7/2000, 4/7/2000. Stand by for a second. Why you stick your hand in your pockets? You have an ID on you? No? What's your name? You don't know? You don't know your name? Step out of the car. You can't step out of the car? You sure? Why can't you step out of the car? Your leg is broken? Okay. What's this in your hoodie? Take your hands out of your pockets. All right. All right. Come on, say.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you, hold one second. At this juncture, in this scenario, which a little bit funny, but really not, Sheldon's in cuffs because he got out of the car, has hands in his pockets. We're in pause on the show right now because the man in the back said, I'm not getting out. I don't have a name, I'm not getting out. I'm gonna hit play in a minute, but I'm gonna ask before I hit play. The man says, I'm not getting out, I don't have a name. What are you gonna do?
We're gonna take him out either way.
He did pull out of the car momentarily. I would suggest you come out freely and voluntarily. He did pull out of the car momentarily. If you're on the street in real life, out on Route Boulevard, on Crownsville Road, on Old Mill Road, wherever you may be, and you say no, you're gonna pull him out and put him in cuffs?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carrad, you okay with that?
Court the judge, unless he has an air cask or some sort of medical device on that, the whole I broke my leg thing's probably not going to hold up. Officer McKay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darshan Carrad is a lawyer, a private lawyer here in Anne Arundel County, a former public defender. It's his job to defend people who are charged with crimes and going to court. But he's the defense lawyer. He just told you got to come out. Mr. Adams, you're the old prosecutor kind of guy.
Yes, sir.
Can we pull him out of the car?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah.
He said he wouldn't get out. I don't have a name. Can we cuff him?
At the moment, maybe 4-on-1. Yeah, I think Officer McKay could cuff him for his...
Officer safety?
Absolutely.
We're on the street, side of the road, 4 of y'all leaving school, going somewhere. Let's say you're going to, I don't know, a party. Sheldon has an ID, but he reaches in his pockets. We call that furtive motion. I don't know what's in his pocket. I'm sure nothing that we don't, but I'm sure nothing. I didn't come to the front door. I have a knife in my pocket. McKay has no idea that I had that in my pocket. This is a little thing, tiny thing. But I have no idea what's in his pocket on the side of the road at night, in the dark. McKay's gonna put him in cuffs. Jaden in the back of the seat said, I don't know my name. So let's go ahead and hit play. Go ahead, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you confirmed that Sheldon did have a warrant, correct, for his arrest?
Yes, sir, correct.
Temple. Switch your legs. Wider. Wider. Wider.
Literally, on the side of the road, let's call it at 11:30 when you gotta be home by midnight on your license. Also pay to go through your pockets. Everything's coming out. Sheldon, I'll hook you up right here, all right, man? I'm gonna go ahead and hold that for you.
Your book and my keys.
All right. You gonna sit him down?
Sit down. On the curb. Stand on your knees right there. Back there. Step out. Step out the car.
So, as a matter of common sense, right? My father always used to say, if you get pulled over, 10 and 2. Have you ever heard that expression? So your hands are on the wheel at 10 and 2. You know why my dad told me that? So the police officer can see your hands, right? Because remember,
Wait, did he just
he has a
abandon that?
gun. He doesn't know what he's about to walk up to. He's never met you before, and anything could happen. And the last thing you want to do, as a matter of common sense, in my opinion, is do anything that to aggravate a man with a gun, right? Whether he's a police officer or not.
Some man shouldn't be you want. Wait some nerves. I'm not. You're not nervous.
Oh.
Just take it. Deal with it later. At this juncture, we have two individuals out of the car, and they're both in cuffs.
Ladies, anything on your shoes again? No. Whose vehicle was it? You don't know his name?
Hold on, pause, Officer McKay. Did you hear what Skylar just told Officer McKay? He said, whose car is it? She said, I don't know, I just met him.
I didn't say I just met him.
I don't know, I just met him. Pause, you all laugh, but let's keep it real here. Don't make a joke about it. It's not as if y'all go to different schools, you don't still see each other on the street or hang out. You may have friends who went to your middle school who go to Glen Burnie or go to Arundel, who may go to Chesapeake, whoever it may be. You may see each other at a party. You may meet a friend at a party. And you may leave with that friend because he or she seems cool. And you want to ride home with that friend. Right now, Scott got in the car with Sheldon. Sheldon's a good dude so far. When he left the party, Sheldon had a warrant for his arrest. He's getting locked up. Skylar's in the front seat. Oh, and so is she. That's why she's looking at me that way. So listen, now they're all going to get, well, I don't know. McKay, what are you going to do now?
With these ladies here?
Yes.
They're going to come out of the car as well.
Are you going to cuff him?
I'm going to handcuff them.
Now, based on the open warrant, you're going to arrest him?
He's going, yes. I don't know about him. I don't even know who he is at this time. These ladies here, are you sure you don't know whose car this is?
No,
No? And you don't know what you're doing in this car?
he was going home.
Okay.
She got you, Sheldon.
Well, Your Honor, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to, I have backup here with the dog. If I can bring a dog and run around the car.
All right, feel free.
Yeah, I did. It's just a lollipop. I'm hoping it's a legitimate lollipop, Shane.
Sheldon, you put it. Stand up.
Shopping.
It's like I have a MSP here.
Remind me of
So, put MSP case.
I won't forget it. You gonna pull him out?
I'll just get out.
Hey, Jake in the back, she said, I'm gonna get out. I'm getting out. Hey, good idea there. Judge Morrissey, let's go fast forward to real life. When you're pulled over, officer, trooper asks you for your license or an ID, just give it to him. You know what, maybe the stop was bad. Maybe the search was bad. That's not your call on the street. And more importantly, let's not fight on the street. By fight, I mean argue. Because if you argue and you sass, you argue and sass, you don't tell them your name, tough guy, they're gonna pull you out of the car. They're gonna cuff you, then they're gonna search you. And then, well, whatever happens, happens. Eleanor, is Trooper Falls here? You heard what Officer McKay said. He pulled four of them out. He's going to search the car. Not the inside. He'll search the outside. The whole car, I think. I don't know. He searches the car. All bets are off, right? Trooper McKay, why'd you pull all four out?
I don't know right now myself, Your Honor. It's the middle of the night. Two of these gentlemen identified. One doesn't know who he is. The other one was acting very suspicious. And one subject had a warrant. So he's definitely going at this time.
And in light of the warrant and arresting of him, are you going to impound that car?
Yes.
Car's going off the road. That car is that brand spanking new Ram Rover. If you're in the back, you can't see, watch the monitor. Sorry. Watch him. Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is my friend Trooper Foss and his canine partner, Euro. I have a question. Are y'all clapping because y'all saw a dog and you want to clap for the dog? All right, yeah, Euro. Woo, yeah. Why are you clapping? Raise your hand. Tell me why you're clapping. Ma'am, tell me your name. I'm Shane. Good to see you. Why are you clapping?
Because dogs are great.
Dogs are great. Okay. Why are you clapping?
Because psychologically, you have to build the
No, bro, you don't. Stand up. Be a voice. Stand up, be a voice, man. Be your own man. I'm my own man. Be your own man. Nope. If I ring a bell, are you going to go run to the water? Hey, Pavlov's dog, man. You got your own voice. Use it. Use your own voice. Why y'all clapping in the back? Who said that? He found something? How do you know that? Huh. Is that what happened to Trooper Foss? Yes. Yeah. How do you know he found something, Trooper Foss?
Well, Euro gave his final response, which is sit, which means he alerted to the presence of the odor of narcotics.
And by something, what do you think he meant? How do you know that? That's a bomb dog. That's a bomb dog. Don't y'all scared? Sorry? No, it was, well, that's not a bomb dog, it's a drug dog. So you're alerted to you, now what are you going to do?
Now the whole car is going to get searched and the people in it.
And by the whole car, you mean like under the seat, right?
Nope, seats, under the hood, trunk, gas cap, gas tank, anywhere and anywhere. Anywhere and everywhere.
Glove compartment.
Sure.
Duffel bag underneath the seat.
Locked suitcase in the trunk.
Huh. And how about everybody in the car?
Yes.
In their pockets.
In their pockets.
Empty their pockets.
In their pockets, waistband, Anywhere that you can conceal a narcotic will be checked.
I don't mean to sound personal, but let's say they all get arrested. They all have to go back to the holding cell. What kind of search happens then?
Strip search.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Strip search.
That sounds fun.
It's not
You
fun
mean a
for-
full body cavity search?
It's not fun for any of us.
No. So, look, you're alerted. Now, are you going to search that car?
I am.
Go ahead, why don't we look in that, see what's underneath that car?
You want to grab that? I don't want to.
Oh, Lord. Why we do this, those of you in Mr. Hood's class, I thought you guys studied already, got there to search and seize your probable cause. Anybody have a problem searching this bag right now? Say it's not good? Illegal? Everybody good with that? Good answer, Mr. Hood. Yeah, Mr. Hood. How about y'all, Glen Burnie? Y'all do this too. Y'all have problems searching this bag? You good with that? All right. Awesome, K, what's in there? Good job back there.
Does somebody have a drug problem? No. No? This bag is filled with 98 grams of heroin.
Whoa, Glenn, that's not even me.
What else is there? Pull it out. What else is there?
Eat it. Eat it.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Whose shirt is this?
Oh my god. I don't play baseball. She don't do soccer.
I play volleyball. That's not mine.
I would never wear Indian Creek apparel in public.
Huh.
I got cut.
So let me get this straight. We have a bag full of 98 grams of heroin. We have 4 people in the car. None of them own the bag. We have what we will call circumstantial evidence that the bag belongs to somebody either who went to, I don't know, Creek, Glen Burnie, Chesapeake. Right? Chesapeake.
Good boy. Down. Down.
Chesapeake, softball, baseball. I don't know who your boyfriend is. Glen Burnie. Your boyfriend play soccer?
Nope.
Uh-huh. These are shorts?
Couldn't fit into that.
Uh-huh. Coach Creek, Coach, doesn't everybody get these shorts? Everybody gets them? Even his girlfriend?
I didn't get them.
Uh-huh. So, at this point, Officer McKay, we have all that evidence, plus all the drugs, and nobody owns the bag. Who gets arrested?
At this point, everybody's.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
I play baseball. Can I have that shirt? I like this shirt.
Trooper Foss, at this point, you have 98 grams of heroin. Who gets charged with the heroin?
Everybody's getting charged with possession with intent to distribute.
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you heard the answer there. I asked the question, who gets charged with possession of heroin? He said, no one. He said all 4 of them, not for possession. What did you say?
Possession with intent to distribute.
That's the misdemeanor, right, Mr. Karad?
No, Your Honor, that's a felony.
Oh, that's the felony. Give me the one, the big one?
The big one.
The big downtown one?
That's a big downtown.
Like 20 some odd years?
20.
Oh, weird. So let me get this straight. Skylar and Jaden made a choice to get in the car with Sheldon, some dude they never met, the cat they never seen in their life, leaving a party. They get in that car at 11:30 trying to get home on time. Sheldon's rocking out to some Chuck Brown. Gets pulled over by Officer McKay, and they all get stopped. Now, Judge Morrissey, they go home tonight, right?
Depends on what their prior record is. There's a reason why Sheldon has a warrant out for him. We don't know what that reason is. Commissioners have to make that call.
And since they're minors, I guess we're going to have to call home, call mom and dad.
That's right.
Grandma, uncle, aunt, somebody, some adult, somebody older than 18 to get them out of jail. Y'all been to jail before? Nope. Good answer. Thank you for that answer. I like that. Nope. The problem now is that we have 4 individuals charged with felony possession of heroin. You're going to only charge one. You're going to pursue one, right? Just one?
No. All 4.
All 4?
All 4.
Why are you so mean?
It's not mean. We're in the middle of a heroin epidemic. I got 4 kids.
But they can't all use it at the same time, right?
98 grams? Sure, the 4 of them could. Not only could they all use it, they could all give it out.
Huh. You mean like sell it and distribute it?
Absolutely.
Huh.
Or even just share it, Judge, because that's just no different. They don't need to take money back for it to be a distribution. Just handing it over to their friends is sufficient for a 20-year penalty.
So even if I buy the heroin myself and I know this dude here and I give it to him his hand, no money, I want to have it. Distribution?
Absolutely.
I'm a drug dealer.
Yes.
And I'm going to go to jail.
Yes.
Huh. I have a question, real life. Anybody have a problem now that we've searched the car, inside the car, the bag, and all four getting charged? Anybody have a problem with that? Think that's wrong? Anybody? Come on, somebody object. Yeah? No?
Why do you have a problem?
My stuff not in the bag.
Wait. He says, my stuff is not in the bag. Where were you sitting?
Don't matter. My stuff.
Wait, no. It does matter. Where were you sitting?
I was in the car.
Right. Were you in the back right here?
Hold on. Stop. Pause. Time out. This is the prosecutor. Can you go talk to him? He is right there inside. At this juncture, Jaden's talking to the man on the street, probably the prosecutor. I say you cooperate, I agree. Don't start running your mouth and saying, hey, my stuff, get off me, don't touch me. He didn't do that, I agree. The more you say on the street, the more that man's going to use against you. Judge Morrissey said it, 10 and 2. I would stop with yes, sir, and no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. My name is Shane Spencer. Bless you, sir. I'll tell him where I live, and I'm giving my daddy's number. I'm
My
scared.
wallet's in my back pocket. My registration's in my glove box. Can I get it, sir?
I'm now going to reach my back pocket, sir. It sounds dramatic. It sounds crazy to you. I'm going to borrow yours, Sheldon. If I'm reaching here, where am I going? Past my hip, right?
Yeah.
He can't see in the dark, in the car. Even worse for Officer McKay. I'm sitting here, I'm reaching here, you can't see him in the back. If I go into my backside here, what does he have on his right hip? Yeah. You reach there, he reaches there. Bad things happen. Let me tell you something. Officer McKay and Trooper Foss come to this courthouse on a regular basis. Judges in this courthouse and all over the state hear cases, thousands of them, thousands and thousands a year. And I'm the first person to tell you that they are not always right. It is some judges' job to say that was not okay. Bad search, bad stop, bad seizure. Statement was coerced, was involuntary. Let some judge say that for you. Hire that lawyer to say that for you.
Remember, too, Judge Spencer, we're the judiciary as judges. We are not part of Mr. Adams' office. He's in the executive branch. We're in the judicial branch. We are not part of the officers, the police officers. Police officers are executive branch, not the judiciary. Our job is one job, and that's to be a neutral forum. We don't have a favorite. We don't care whether the police are right or not right. It's just our job to make that call. Like a referee in sports, we're not on anybody's team except our own, and our sole job is to make that decision after hearing from everybody.
Everybody gets a chance to be heard. Everybody gets a chance to be heard. That man over there said psychological, we got to follow the herd, basically what he said. I disagree. Use your voice. Stand up for what you know is right. Live to fight another day. Don't do it the wrong time, wrong place. Don't make a bad choice on the street, ends up cuffs in your hand, your mom and dad called, or worse yet, something worse than that. How do cuffs feel? You want to come out of them?
Yep.
You sure?
Mine aren't that tight.
You want tighter? Turn around, girl.
No. But you can take them off.
I don't got a key.
Who's got a key?
I don't know. You want your cuffs off?
Yeah, I gotta use the bathroom. Like for real.
Unfortunately, on the side of the road at 2 a.m., or in your case, 11:30, Jaden sits. Because now they have to search this car, tow this car. He has one car. He only put one person in. They got to call for 3 more cars. So Jaden probably does have to pee for real. But in real life, he's going to sit in the dark, in the rain, and have to hold it. You went out?
Yeah, like
He's going to do it for you. All right. Let's take the cuffs off them so they can sit down so they get a little antsy. I have a question. Someone, you said it, my man. What's your name? Riley? You saw the dog sit, right? How did you know that was his signal? Are you a canine handler? You want to be? I like your shirt. What's that feel like, man? Yeah, it's Under Armour like that. Trooper Foss, how did you know what Euro was going to do or why he did it?
I've been trained to where I went through an initial school with Euro.
Thank you.
A 14-week school where he was not trained for anything. He didn't even know his name. So I get to learn Euro's behavior changes when he's in odor, which is when he smells his 7 trained odors.
Just you?
which he doesn't do for anything
Back
else. He
down the
doesn't do it for food, he doesn't do it for treats, he doesn't do it for anything except for those 7 odors. So I'm trained, I know what to look for
Thank you,
him.
Tyler.
And then that final response that looks good for the court system, the judges and the attorneys, is the sit. I don't necessarily need that to be able to call an alert, but it looks really nice in court.
Anybody have questions about Euro or Trooper Foss's training with Euro? Did you know before Euro sat that there might have been an alert?
Yeah, the way
What-
he was working the front of the seat and then came around to the inside, and his tail started to wag faster.
Did y'all see that? I missed it.
Get it, boy.
How about Jill?
Jill?
Yep.
Jill's a little different. Jill's an explosive detection dog, so.
And what's
She'll,
Jill's alert? Or behavior?
Jill's alert depends on what she's doing. If we're doing like a bomb threat search in a school or a stadium or something, she'll sit. However, if we're working an event and somebody walks by with a suicide vest on or a suicide bag, she's trained to track them.
Make sense to y'all? Anybody have a question about any of that?
Judge, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
So, Trooper,
I'm sorry.
like I see, Judge has, we had
Bubba.
air fresheners in the judge's car, and you had smelly clothes in the car.
Yep.
How does Euro separate? How does he know that there's that particular smell in there with all the other stuff in there?
Well, Euro, dogs, that's why we use dogs instead of sometimes our own noses. Dogs' noses are a lot better than ours, 250 times more sensitive. So Euro's trained on 7 different odors: marijuana, hash, ecstasy, meth, cocaine, heroin, and black tar heroin. So the way we like to explain it is we use like a beef stew theory. So when you go home and your mom's cooking beef stew, you smell beef stew, right? Well, the dog is able to throw out odors he doesn't need, and the dog's able to actually smell everything separate. So when you go smell beef stew, the dog actually smells broth, beef, celery, carrots, et cetera, everything's separate. So when there's masking agents, is what we call them, air fresheners, coffee grounds, dryer sheets, I mean, you name it, we've heard them all. The dog's able to throw that odor out easier and focus on the odors that he's trained to detect.
Yes, sir. Tell me your name, sir.
Adam.
How are you? What's your question?
I was wondering, if you were being illegally searched, you were be in possession of, let's say, drugs or something, or you were found something, you illegally be in possession of, and you were to be arrested for that reason, in court, would you be charged for having for being in possession of illegal stuff, or would nothing happen?
Let's do it this way. Are you saying that if Trooper or Officer McKay stopped this car for no given reason, he was stopping that car, and had no probable cause search of that car, he pulled everybody out, put them on the curb, put them in cuffs, and found those drugs, would they be charged? Is that your first question?
Yes.
So hold on, are you going to charge them all? Yeah. Now, let's fast forward. They're charged. Are you going to prosecute them all? No. And they're charged, 4 charged, 1's prosecuted. And we now have an illegal search, hypothetically, of some drugs that was seized at 98 grams. Are you going to find that person guilty?
If the drugs are the result of a impermissible search or seizure, then those drugs don't come into evidence, and I'm not going to be able to find the individual guilty. Remember, the state has the burden to prove to the court beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest standard that the court holds, that the person is guilty. And if you're charged with drugs and the drugs can't be entered into evidence, there's no way I can find anyone guilty.
But the distinction to draw from your question is, can anyone be arrested? Say, for example, it wasn't as by the book as you saw here, or I'm going to make some hay out of some of the procedural aspects of this. That comes later in court that I'm going to make a motion to suppress and make that fruit of the poisonous tree argument. Your night is already messed up. Everything that you've been charged with, the felony, these guys are just, unbeknownst to them, riding with Sheldon, the MVA, DMV heroin kingpin. They're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they're still going to go through the court system. That comes later, that argument. So they have to fight their way out, but they're already ensnared in the criminal justice system, being booked, being processed, being taken to Jennifer Road Detention Center, having to hire me or my colleague, Ms. Wisner, or Mr. Pudsey, who's in the building, and they have to fight and assert their rights to that.
And just so you know, like everybody leaves this part out, my responsibility, our responsibility as prosecutors, is to look at that search before it even gets into the court system being charged. So what Judge Spencer asked me is about whether or not they would all get charged. If this was an illegal search and we knew it was an illegal search and we didn't have what we call a good faith argument to argue the legality of the search, we wouldn't even charge it. So if Trooper McKay or Officer McKay just walked up to you and shook you down and found drugs on you, we're not going to prosecute. We're not even going to prosecute that case. You'll never even see the inside of the courtroom. If there's a good reason why he did it, though, even if it's a close call, we'll argue it out. That's why Darshan makes his money as a good lawyer. And we'll put a judge in a position of making a call. But if it's a bad search up front, that's part of what we do as prosecutors.
I want to put this in real life for you, though. Let's just say this. What grade are you in? Junior, right? Yes. Let's say this happens today, right? You're going to be charged with the felony. Let's just say you're charged with the felony. It's on your record. You're going to be charged. How long does it take to get a felony case through motions and 15,000 status conferences to trial?
A drug case right now takes about 9 to 12 months to get through.
9 to 12 months. You're at the end of your senior year. You're applying for colleges now, right? Soon, right? And when they run your record, they run your name. We call it Maryland Case Judiciary Searcher. When they run your record or they ask you questions, you have to openly and honestly say, I've been charged. Miss Chester, I asked a question. If he's charged, but he's charged, we go to trial, he's acquitted in 9, 12 months. The charge stays on his record through your office all 9 months, right? Let's say he's found not guilty. He's getting expunged later, correct? Down the road. 9, 12 months after that, correct? Has to file paperwork with you, right? Then you have to process it. You are missing your first freshman year semester because the charge is still there and you can't get it expunged. You know why? Because 3 folks made a bad choice to get in the car with Sheldon and some cat they don't know, leaving a party they had just left for no good reason. Yes, you're going to be found not guilty if the bad search was bad. I agree. But let's not put ourselves in that box. Let's not do that. Before Trooper Foss goes with Euro, anybody have questions about the dog they want to ask? Yes, ma'am. Euro. I did. He has a bomb dog named Jill. How about Officer McKay before he steps out? Officer McKay, you want to address the students before you leave?
Yeah, I did, Your Honor. Guys, I just want to take a second. Usually I'm on the way back out the road at this point, but I really want to address you guys so that you know that despite what you guys see on TV, social media, and things like that now about what's going on at rights and when not to say things in a car stop, I want you to know that being polite, courteous to an officer, especially in the middle of the night being pulled over, it goes a long way. If you're pulled over and you feel as though you've been violated, your rights have been violated, something's going wrong, you should stop for no reason. That's not the time to contradict that officer, battle him, to challenge him. Things escalate and go the complete opposite way in which that routine stop initiated. That tail light out or you speeding could go to finding yourselves proned out on the side of the road, guns drawn, and everything else. So, case in point, a story of my own. I myself, I'm born and raised in Baltimore City. Right around your age, I was in high school, picking up a friend that night in my car. I stopped, I got off work, picked up my buddy from work, who was going home. I was stopped by Baltimore City Police, and I was 16. We had guns drawn, put on our backs, rolling around. The whole time, remained polite and courteous to the dogs. Now, if we weren't, things could have gone a whole lot worse than even what it was. Now, and I say that just to say there's a time to fight that, challenge that, and it's time not to. I was raised and I knew that that wasn't the time to challenge that. The proper time to challenge that is when you get home to your parents, you tell them what happened, and from there, your parents know the proper way in which to go and challenge that officer or that department if they so did you wrong. But doing it there on the side of the road at night would have been a complete wrong time to do it, and it's not the time to do it. I want you guys to stay safe. I want you to be smart about what you do. Even if you know you're pulled over and you know that guy's dirty in your car, there's still not the time for you to act out because things will go a whole lot worse than what they need to go in the route that it needs to go. So I want you, just like Judge Spencer and Ms. Adams said, I want you guys to be smart about the way you handle yourselves when you're out on the street.
Ladies and gentlemen, we searched the car. Thank you, Officer McKay. Search that car there. I want to ask a question. Those of you who drive, do you drive your cars to school? Yeah? Colin, you drive your car to school? Where are you at, Colin? I saw you earlier. You drive your car to school? Do you have to sign a waiver or something or a permission slip? Yes. So we searched this car on the side of the road because we had a problem because I asked the question, can I search your car right now at school if I wanted to? Sure. Good answer. How about anybody else? Anybody else drive their car in school? You do? Can I search your car too? Yeah. Good answer. If you say no, that's also okay by me, because stand up for yourself. But I have this form right here, and this is a form that Mr. Adams got for me from another school, Severna Park, but it's used, I believe, Ms. Jackson, countywide, right? It says Severna Park, but it applies to Glen Burnie. It applies to Old Mill, it applies to Arundel, it applies to Chesapeake, it applies to Indian Creek. Maybe your Land Rover, maybe nicer than my car, hater. It may be your mom's car, it may be your dad's car, it may be your car, for all I know. But that car you drove onto Anne Arundel County Public School property or Creek property, I'm telling you right now, I'll leave with him, and I'll leave him if I choose to. Well, I won't. Mr. Adams will, and search that car. You have what we call no expectation of privacy in that car on school grounds. Make sense to you? So this permission that you sign on this waiver says that, hey, I gave the school, anybody in the school, not even an officer, an administrator, to come in your car and search your car. Same applies at your house, right? Right? Who said yes? Who said that? Who said warrant? Sheldon. My man with 98 grams of heroin knows about warrants. Sheldon, you are right, my friend. Mr. Adams would have to seek, or his officer would have to seek a warrant, or Trooper Foss or Officer McKay have to seek a warrant to get into your home. I agree. Mr. Adams, you found, or they found, 98 grams of heroin in Sheldon's car. Are you going to get a warrant?
It's about the first thing we're going to do. Your car connected to you, well, I think.
It's probably registered in his parents' name.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the car's gone.
We're going to seize the car. The car's not.
Car's gone. We'll be getting as part of what they're doing while they're searching for the car, there'll be another officer writing a warrant for your house. Presumably, we could actually write a warrant for all 4 of the houses, since each and every one of you are presumed to be in possession of that bag for the purposes of at this stage, for the purpose of the investigation, we could probably get a warrant for each of the 4 houses.
Judge Morrissey, Officer McKay saw Sheldon leaving his home with 4 individuals at 11:30 at night. He did a rip earlier in the week and found some paraphernalia in that trash can, that rip. He found 98 grams of heroin on the street. He wants to get a warrant in that house. Are you going to sign that warrant? 100% of the time. He signs that warrant. Officer McKay and Trooper Foss, you're probably going to search just his room, right? No. Not just his drawers and stuff, right? His school bag? No. What are you going to search?
The whole house. I promise you, you don't want to go back into a house after it's been, after it's had a search warrant.
They're allowed in the house. And Judge Morrissey signs that warrant, or some judge signs that warrant, they're coming in your house. And they're not searching your room, they're searching your mom's room, your little brother's room, they're searching the basement, they're in everything, in your shoe boxes.
Think about how small a spot could you put a little bit of heroin in? Just think about how small a spot, like this. So anything that's smaller than this or bigger than this, they can search. There's a lot of spaces inside your house that are bigger than this.
Even though the court closes at 4:30 every day, there's a judge that's always on duty for warrants. So they'll come to Will will tell you they've been to our house. They come at midnight. They come at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so there's one judge designated in each county that has to be on call all night long.
And they come knocking, by that I mean officers, on our doors, and they get the warrant signed. And no sooner are they out of my front door, or they're on the radio, got it, there's a TAC team at that house, and they're coming in foot first. They're not knocking politely. They may ask for a no knock because they know you have a gun previously or charge that has a gun involved. They come in foot first. And it ain't just 2 dudes.
In Judge Spencer, if you adopt our e-warrant program, they won't even have to come to your house.
I like to get up and have coffee, Judge, and you know.
All I know is, you remember Stella, the little puppy? It's a big event when someone comes to our house at 2 o'clock in the morning. So.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for the officer real quick. With the climate right now, with what we see on the news with interactions with police shootings, this and that, James, one of my students, and the way he talked to you, what kind of charges can be brought against a teenager, an adult, with non-compliance in a situation like that?
Failed to bail off order.
Yeah,
obstructing and hindering.
he's still hindering an investigation, even though he's a juvenile. He still can be charged.
If we ask you to get out of the car, there's case law that says you have to get out of the car.
Mr. Cry, he didn't give him his name. Can they pull him out because he didn't give him his name?
Yes, Your Honor, because at this point, we have a warrant open for the driver. He's trying to ascertain the identity of everybody in the car to see if they too might have warrants, so he needs to have that name.
And just
I
think,
promise he's coming out of the car.
and even if
we'll
you,
try to do it nice at first, but you don't want to get out of the car, you're coming out of the car.
and even at the point where we do have to forcibly remove you from the car, if you still refuse to give us your identity, at that point, we can take you in, handcuff you, and take you in to fingerprint you and live scan to find out who you are. So you'll be detained for hours on end until we get your results back of who your identity is.
So at the end of the day, the same results, you're gonna get his name whether he gives it to you right at the
Right.
very beginning or hours on with
Yes,
multiple
sir.
charges.
Right. In this scenario, if Jaden had given his name, then asserted his right to hold silent, he's well within his rights otherwise. It just went downhill with the rest of it.
And let's be honest, Jaden is a juvenile. He has no criminal history or record. Let's be honest. None of you do. Why fight the simple fight? Tell him your name. And if you got one, it's okay. I'll see you later in life. I'll be here. You can be right here. Look, I'll be right here. I'll be right here. I'm going to call Ms. Adams down and try that case. I'm going to call Mr. Crowd, try the case for you too. Then whatever happens, happens. Yes, sir.
How often does the whole I don't know my name situation actually come up?
It happens a lot.
Is there like an average age group for the people who do that?
No.
When you ask yourself, what do you think's going to happen if you tell a police officer, I don't know my name? The issue is going to be forced. Everybody has a name, right? And the fact that you don't know your name and you're going to try to pull that on a police officer doesn't make a lick of sense.
And additionally, it's also going to invite what's called a false statement charge. If you say, I don't know my name, which is clearly not accurate, that's going to be another 6 months of incarceration you're risking. Mr. Adams is going to charge you with.
And I'll just add one more thing about this interaction. See, I don't know if any of you guys saw, but Jaden, you took your lollipop, you had it wrapped up, you dropped it on. As you got out, you dropped it down behind you, put your hat over the top of it. Officer McKay saw that. You just didn't, I mean, you invited so much more on yourself than you would have ever had. That motion right there. And I'm going to take that, what you just did, and attach that to the bag in there because you're the one who's trying to hide and secrete stuff. And I'm just telling you, like, that's the real world of what we do. I'm not trying to call you out, but that's something that you did as you got out of the car that an officer made note of that I would use to put you in the jackpot.
It's known in the criminal defense world as a dropsy. It's just when you drop something, just try to conceal it. That's what it's inviting. And as Mr. Adams said, he's going to tie you to the bag, even though none of your gear is in it. You're not the driver or owner of the car. So my friends who play volleyball and softball are going to be free and clear, but you're putting yourself in the pot, in the cooking pot. Exactly, and that's an argument I would love to make for you, but it just, like I said, the fact that you dropped the laptop near the bag is tying you to it because you're interacting near that bag.
Everybody is a cop.
Exactly. That's what.
And now you're learning what they in the law we call that constructive possession. Everybody in that place had the ability to reach down and grab it. It was right at your right foot.
I went through the job and he just said, put your back between my legs or whatever. So you like that happens. How you gonna put it on me?
So, because it's right there at your feet, you could put your hands in it. That's under the law. That's called.
And let's just take that example out of it, because I do this demonstration with my clients all the time around a conference table. I take a pen and I say, right now, let's pretend this is drugs. Right now, these are my drugs. Oh no, Officer McKay's here. I'm going to fling it into the middle of the table. Now it's everybody's drug. That's known as the doctrine of constructive possession.
When you become a judge, you don't give up your common sense. We were 16 years old at one point. I knew my buddies that were driving with me and whether they were going to bring beer into the car or liquor into the car. I was probably part of it, perhaps. But you know, so if you try to get into court and you try to tell a judge, I didn't know my best friend was carrying weed with him, I'm going to say, you know, that's not really believable. I have a hard time accepting that. So remember those kind of things. You can say all you want that it's not mine, it's not mine, it's not mine, but if your best friend has it with him in the car, I'm going to say you guys are more likely than not probably part of it.
You know, Judge, this is real life. And Will, I'm not going to pick on you. I'm going to compliment you on your tie. I appreciate it. This is real life. In a little while, you'll get to see real life cases. But one thing I want you to know about behind this screen, we call it the bench. And it's higher than everybody else's seat. I'm going to tell you that because when I sit on the bench, I see all. I told you I wasn't lying. I remember faces, but I see all. I take it all in. Judge Morrissey takes it all in. Miss Lisa, is she in here? She's not. The admin was back there, and I would go back to get coffee, and I was walking down the hall, and she said, Judge, stop. And I said, what? She said, all right, take your coat off. I had a string loose, right? My pants are on. My father, he knows he's probably here, right? I always had to leave my house with a belt on. If I left my house without a belt on, my dad would get in my bottom. I mean a whooping. Because I had to have a belt on. I was like a kid, I had to have a belt on. He said you can't leave the house without belts on. Pants up. I see you walk in this well. I see you walk over here. I see you come around the table, and I see your backside, and I see you sit here. And I see you come down here, and I see you do this, and I do this. Or sometimes I see you do this. Or sometimes I see you just do this. Call that mean mugging? What y'all call that? What y'all call that? I don't know what you call that. What you call that? Angry? Dirty? I don't know what you call it. I see it all. I tell you that because Officer McKay saw Jaden drop that there. He can tell that to Mr. Adams. He can tell some judge that. But let's just do it. I'm not a smart guy, but 1 + 1 + 1, 1 + 1 + 1, how many is that? 3. 3. All right. 1 + 1 = 2, though, right?
Hey, Will, why'd you wear a tie today?
Yep.
You told me to.
Where were you going? Where? Where were you going for school? No, where was school going? Yeah.
Did you notice that Judge Spencer noticed that, Will? Yes. We notice things like that. I notice when people come to court and they're dressed up in a tie. I had a guy show up in a tuxedo one time. He wanted to impress the court, and I gave him credit for that. I thought he was goofy, but...
And by impress, Judge Morrissey, you mean take it seriously.
Taking it seriously, yep. We're looking at that stuff from the minute you walk into the courtroom. I'm paying attention to those kind of things. I once had an individual that was charged with a drug-related crime that walked in with a T-shirt with a skull smoking a marijuana blunt. And I asked him, I normally don't ask people about their clothing. It's one of those things that we usually don't do as judges, but I said, sir, can you please explain to me why you decided in a drug charge to wear a drug-related shirt? And please don't tell me that was the only clean shirt that you had. And the kid looked down, and then he looked back up, and he went, uh-oh. And I could tell that he didn't do it intentionally, that he was just a knucklehead and wore that shirt that day. But those are the kind of things that, they matter. They're small issues, but it all goes into the 1 + 1 + 1.
There are choices you make, simple choices you make that affect your life. Good choices and bad choices. I saw Will. I know Will's dad don't put that tie on. My man over there, the bow tie, your dad didn't tell you to do that. You did that because you knew you were coming to court. That shirt right there, the collared shirt, I noticed it. I saw it. It's Under Armour. It looks nice, but it's a collared shirt. It's buttoned up. I like it. I noticed it. First thing I noticed. I would be lying to you if I didn't say I noticed other things, like the headband in the courtroom. If that were my courtroom and I was in court in session, I'm going to ask Bobby to have it removed because it ain't for religious purposes. I know. I saw that already. I'm sure Mr. Hood watches that all the time. My issue is that I notice these things. Small things. Choices, they matter. We're going to change gears. In a moment, I'm going to ask my friend to cue up a video. I would like you guys to watch this video. This is a video about real life. This person in the video is you. It's a high school student on a spring day driving a car. That's it. That's it. Then things go down, a downturn, and it goes real bad, real quick. This is a real life video. This is not something that was made on TV. This happened in Maryland. The kid was treated in our hospitals. At the end of the video, I have a good friend of mine who's here, and she's a nurse, and she's going to speak to you about this video. And I invite you to ask her questions about this video and the effects and the trauma on the body of this young man. Watch this video. This is a video that I've seen 10 times. And every time I watch it, I still get emotional, I get choked up. Ms. Chester, you going to leave yet? I know you are. This video is real. I invite you to watch this video, and at the end, speak to my friend, Ms. George. Ask questions about this video, because this is not something we made up. This is real. This is right here in Maryland. Can you cue that up for me? Thanks. I watched in the back, and I watched some of you tear up. I watched some of you look away. I was curious to why you looked away, but I know why you looked away, because I know what happened, because I've seen the video, and I've had my friend Ms. George tell me what happens in that video. Rob and Sean had some choices. They make some good choices, they made some bad choices. Choices they didn't get to make. But before we go any further about Rob and Sean and what happened that day, I want to talk about what happened to them medically and physically. And I'm not very smart. I recognize that. I own my weaknesses. So when I don't know these things, I go to the professionals. See, I'm smart enough that I know that I don't know. I asked for help. Again, good thing to do is ask for help. So I asked my friend Ms. George to come in. Ms. George is a nurse at Johns Hopkins, and she knows way more about medicine and bodies and what happened on that car than any one of us in this room. And if you had a question about it, ask her, because I ask a question, I always ask her, because I'm not sure in the back you saw it. They had a tube, Miss Ashley, and they were doing something around his throat. What were they doing?
So Rob had a tube in his throat, which is serving as his airway. So it goes straight from his throat down into his lungs. That's a protected airway, and so they were suctioning it. So you know when you cough and you cough stuff up or you clear your throat, that's what they were doing for him, is suctioning all that stuff so that he doesn't get like pneumonia and choke. Good morning, everybody. Like Judge Spencer said, thank you, Judge Spencer, for having me. My name's Ashley. I am a trauma nurse at Johns Hopkins in the emergency room. And unfortunately, we see a lot of terrible things that happen to young children, young kids, young adults, like this all the time. So does anybody have questions to start off? Yeah. The green stuff in the tube. Oh, probably coming from the Sean, the one that was coming out of his mouth, probably. It could have been.
I think it was a speeding tube going up through his nose.
So both boys had a couple of different tubes. One, Sean, I think, was intubated through his mouth. So there was a tube going from his mouth down into his lungs and a machine that was making his breathing for him. Rob had one going through his throat. This way, that's a trach. Sean, the first boy, had probably an OG tube, which is an orogastric tube, and it goes down into his stomach, and it sucks out all of the stomach acid that's in there, so that, you know, if something were to happen and he were to cough or to throw up, that stuff could go into his lungs and cause him to get a really bad infection or pneumonia. So the green stuff is usually the bile coming from the stomach, so that it gets sucked out and doesn't go into his lungs. I believe both boys also had I know Rob had a feeding tube, which was the tube going into his nose. It goes into his nose, goes down the back of his throat and into his stomach. And they can give him nutrition straight into his stomach without him having to swallow. So that's a lot of time they do it through the nose or through an IV. They can give him nutrition to keep them, you know, instead of eating. That's how they feed them. Yeah?
What's the youngest patient you've ever had?
Well, fortunately for me, I only work on adults. So we take every trauma patient from 15 years old all the way up. Anybody under 15 goes to our pediatric side, which I say thankful for me, because it would probably break my heart to work on children. As bad as that sounds, it's a little bit easier to work on adults. That's just my experience. But still, I mean, 15-year-olds is hard because they're still children.
Actually, tell you biologically, we talk a lot about marijuana nowadays, and there's a common misnomer that marijuana is now legal in Maryland. It's not. But the effects of marijuana on the body and biologically, how does that affect our ability to react and to drive, for example?
Yeah, definitely. So the worst part about it is it slows all your reaction time. So if you're in a car, even if you're not driving crazy, somebody else is driving. Judge Spencer cuts me off, and if I don't have quick reaction time, I could hit him. Or if he's driving crazy and I don't have quick reaction time to stop and save myself, he could hurt me. So that's probably the biggest thing, is that it slows your reaction time. You can't react and stop your car, or if you're walking, stop quickly enough to avoid an accident. One of the things I wanted to point out about this video that you don't know is that in this incident there was a female in the car. She was ejected through the windshield, and she died on impact at the accident. both boys, even if you don't go through the windshield, your brain is inside this hard bone cavity, right? And when you get in an accident and you get shot forward and backward, and let's say, hopefully you have your seatbelt on, your brain still hits the front of your skull and it hits the back of your skull with as much force as your car is hitting another car or a tree or whatever. So your brain hits the front of your skull, the back of your skull, and there's blood vessels that feed your brain. And those blood vessels, when your brain goes forward and backwards, they shear and they rip and then they bleed and it injures your brain and your brain gets bruised or there's bleeding in your brain. And that's a lot of times what causes, some of these injuries, this brain death, is your brain is, even though maybe you don't hit your head on anything, your brain is hitting the inside of your skull. Yeah.
People talk about drinking and driving and they smoke weed and drive. Have you all seen the increase of other prescription drugs like Xanax?
We do. So I work in Baltimore City, and right now we're going through a heroin epidemic. We do see a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of people mixing stimulants and depressants. So that would be like cocaine and heroin. They call it a speedball. So you think like, oh, I'll take the heroin and get high, but I'll take the cocaine and it'll keep me up and I can still party. And that's like maybe the worst thing you can do, because what happens is they double the effects on each other. If you smoke marijuana and you drink alcohol, or if you do heroin and you drink alcohol, they double the effects of each other. So it's like getting high twice, and it's twice as dangerous. One of the things we're seeing the worst of is the fentanyl mixed with the heroin. I've had a lot of people, especially this summer, they came in because they overdosed on their heroin, and they said, luckily, they all woke up, but they said, oh, I just went and I got my normal dose of heroin. I went to my regular dealer and I got my normal whatever I get. Well, what they didn't know is that dealer, or the dealer they got it from, cut it with a little bit of fentanyl.
What's the effect of that, Ashley? Tell us.
Fentanyl is 10 times as strong as morphine. And carfentanil, if you've heard about that, that's the elephant tranquilizer. That's 100 times stronger than morphine. And all it takes is a grain of sand, and that will overdose you. And the biggest impact it's having is that we have a drug called Narcan, and Narcan can reverse your heroin, can wake you up, can take you from, so you don't die from your overdose. However, fentanyl, carfentanil, we don't have enough Narcan to wake you up. It takes doses and doses and doses. And what's happening, Zach, what's happening with our store of Narcan?
Starting to run out because there's being so many overdoses, and you're having to use so many doses of Narcan to bring somebody back. I've seen it used as many as giving 7 doses of Narcan to bring somebody back.
Yeah.
It still doesn't work.
On one person, Zach?
On one person.
Zach's a firefighter for PG County. He's also my brother. And how many doses are you allowed to have with you on the AMBO?
My unit, I only have 1 dose. So
One
if that
dose.
1 dose doesn't bring you back, on a Narcan shortage, I have to call. Can't give you any more.
Yeah. And if you don't wake up from that 1 dose, you better hope they get you to the hospital quick enough so that we can give you enough Narcan to wake you up. So the moral of that story is you never know what you're getting. And I heard recently that we had our first death from fentanyl laced in marijuana. Somebody.
It was about 8 weeks ago or 10 weeks ago.
Yeah. Somebody died because they bought marijuana and it was laced with fentanyl and they didn't know it. And you overdose, you stop breathing and you die. So that's a lot of the things that we're seeing at my hospital. And there's emergency personnel, there's nurses and police officers and firefighters that are dying now because they go to take care of a patient and that patient has fentanyl on them, and they touch it or they breathe it in by accident, it just gets on your clothes or whatever, and then they're overdosing. And then you've got your first responders who are overdosing and can't take care of the patient who initially used the drug. And that's just from contact with the patient.
Ashley, are you saying that if I use drugs, let's say I'm using some fentanyl, and we're hanging out at the party, I go out in the bathroom and I use it, and I come out and I'm high as a kite, it's on my shirt, and I fall onto you like this, you rub it and get it in your face, then what happens?
I overdose.
You didn't use it.
Doesn't matter. I can breathe it in from your clothes, I could touch it and touch my face. It gets in my bloodstream.
So even if you don't know me and you get in the car with me and my clothes happen to have that fentanyl on it and we're in the car and I pull it, the cop pulls it out and it just kind of drops it there. What if you breathe it in?
Yeah, you overdose. It goes into your bloodstream.
Even though I didn't use it.
All it takes is literally the size of a grain of sand. And it may be on your clothes, you don't even know it.
Well, the person I don't know's clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Cook.
So Judge Spencer, if I was to attend a party and I had that fentanyl-laced marijuana and I shared it with my friends and they overdosed, what would be the repercussions on me?
Sir Adams, that's new to you.
Yep. We just indicted our first person for manslaughter for distributing narcotic that contained fentanyl. It was actually straight fentanyl. It was being shared as heroin, but a person died from that overdose. He's now indicted, just indicted 2 weeks ago.
With what? Indicted on what?
Manslaughter, possession with intent to distribute manslaughter. And then I've been working with the United States Attorney's Office. So our penalty maxes out at 10 years. Their penalty starts at 360 months for killing somebody and goes up to life.
So you mean if I took it to the party and we all wanted to party, my friends wanted to try it?
But you didn't know, Mr. Cook, that the drugs you got from that dealer down the street, not here, let's say not in Anne Arundel County, but you went down to, let's just say Baltimore, you went down to Leonardtown.
You purchased pot from Old Frederick Avenue or Mercy from Old Frederick Avenue, sure.
You're getting charged with manslaughter.
That's if we keep it here. If it's type of case that the U.S. Attorney's Office would take, which is what we're literally trying to do, the minimum sentence is 360 months.
And the bigger issue is, Mr. Cook, is not just that. You know, I told you earlier, you students, that we're not the fun police. I'm not for one hot second to say you shouldn't enjoy your junior year going to senior year of high school. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not naive to say you're not going to party and have a good time. I'm not that naive. I would like to say I don't want you to drink. I don't want you to smoke that weed. Let me tell you something. Driving in behind the wheel of a car drunk is still an offense. And having marijuana, even if you smoke one hit, is still an offense. I'm not naive, they're not going to have a party. I get that. I want you to have a good time. Hang out. Be with each other. I don't want you to drink and smoke. And frankly, you have no idea where Jamie Cook gets his weed from. He may have a good dealer. Y'all been using his weed for a whole long good time. Jamie Cook, the 16-year-old, not the old man that he is today. But that one time he leaves because his dealer doesn't have enough, he goes somewhere else to get that weed. You think it's the same weed you've been sharing all the time? Your point's well taken. It's laced with fentanyl, you're done. How about PCP? Don't they call it, what, the dippers? What do they call it? Mr. Crowd, dippers, Mr. Wisner?
Yep.
Is that what it is? A dipper?
Correct.
What's that?
So you take a cigarette or marijuana cigarette, lace it with PCP by dipping it in.
Any of y'all smell PCP before? That's a good answer. It smells good, right, Ashley?
I have no idea.
Oh, my bad. Darshan, never mind. Wes, where are you at? Smells good, right?
No, you can't. Actually, we're not even allowed to bring it to a courthouse. The smell is so toxic, they will not, it doesn't matter. It's so bad, it burns through heat-sealed bags. So if you put, the safety precaution that we take is you bottle it, jar it, seal the jar, seal it inside of a bag, and seal it inside of another bag, because in the time it sometimes takes to get to court, it'll burn through bags. And our court system won't.
We don't let it in the building anymore.
Won't let it come in the building.
We don't allow it in the building at all. It's that strong.
It'll shut down the hallway in a courthouse.
You're smoking a blunt, don't smoke. Smoking a blunt, don't smoke. Smoking a blunt, don't smoke. But if you happen to be smoking that blunt and it smells funky, drop it and walk away. You have a question? Shoot.
PCP is required to have that effect, like when it's so bad it goes through.
Literally a dipper. You dip it in a little vial. Dip that tip in there, and you're done. And it's potent, it's foul. It's nasty. You'll smell it and you'll know it. But when you smoke it, you'll be Superman for a minute. And you'll think you can fly, you can fight 15 cops, you get tased 30 times. Then when you come down, you're going to be down at Hopkins with Ashley, and you're going to be fighting for your life. Because that high comes way down, right, Ashley?
Yeah. You know how we normally get our patients who are on PCP? Because they're running into people's houses naked, screaming, acting a fool. Somebody calls the cops and brings them into me. It's absolutely insane.
And when you're that high, you think you can fight the cops. And it's not one, it's like 30. And they pull tasers out, and they're trying to restrain you from running into the street so you don't kill yourself. It's not fun, not pretty. I'll get back. I'm not implying you shouldn't have a good time. I'm not implying you shouldn't hang out. Be together. Be smart. Make good choices. Make good choices. No one said you can't hang out and have fun. But don't hang out and fun and make bad choices. And let's be honest, you're going to make a bad choice. I already told you what you want to do. I want you to own it. And are there parents here? There's kids today? I said today. Anybody? No? Hey, Bobby, you still here?
Say, my parents are here.
Bobby? Yes, yeah. Miss George, you still here? Yes. Weird. Daddy, you here?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you something. I do this program, and I do it often, 4 times a year. I told you that. Every once in a while, now regularly, the man, my dad, sneaks in the room. I'm not in trouble, I hope. My dad's here because he supports me. I'm still his baby. Miss Lynn's over here, Miss George. She's not part of my program. She supports her baby. Miss George, Ashley and I are gonna go out tonight. We're gonna get real drunk. I'm gonna get her drunker than drunk. We're going down Baltimore. We're gonna get wasted drunk. We are. We're gonna go out tonight and get drunk.
My dad's over there too.
Oh, sorry. You know what? I'm gonna bring Zach with us, and we're gonna get wasted drunk. We're gonna be down in Baltimore tonight. We're gonna go to the Horseshoe. We're gonna gamble. We're gonna be drunk, but I can't get home. I'm gonna ask Ashley to call you at like 3 a.m. I gotta go to work tomorrow. You come get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
You'd be mad?
No.
How about tomorrow?
Well, we'll talk about that.
I half joke, I half don't joke. Bobby George is in charge of keeping this building safe. He's the bailiff in this courthouse, in charge of all of us. That's his wife, Miss Lynn, Mrs. George. That is their son, Zach. He's my friend too. This is their daughter, Ashley. My dad's in the back of the courtroom. I am a grown man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a grown man. At some juncture in my life, I'm gonna have a beer. I might. I choose to. I might have more than one. I might choose to. I might have more than 2. I might choose to. I'm allowed. At 2 or 3, I'm not driving. At 4, Wes drinks 4. He's a big, tall, goofy dude. He drinks 4 beers. I might go say, oh, Wes is here. I can drink 4 with Wes. I'm still not driving. It can be 4 o'clock in the morning. I promise you, I'm not driving. I will call my father. Done it before. As a kid, by kid I mean 21. As an adult, 40 plus. He comes without fail. Without fail. I hear about it. I get chewed on. But I'm alive. I tell you that because I know, I guarantee, all of you, every last one in this courtroom, you call your parents, your grandmother, your aunt, somebody who loves you, they'll come get you. Frankly, some of you, I know your parents. I know they'll come get you. Frankly, some of you, I'll come get you. Get my number. You can get it. You probably already have it. I will come get you. I like you all. Some of you I love. Some of you I don't even know. I'll come get you. It's no secret that Will's dad is a judge. Will, I'll come get you, bro. It'll be our secret. I meant to a cookie, but it'll be our secret. I joke, but I don't. You're going to make a bad choice. Own it and then make it right. And make it right is not driving home, not going home with your friend you don't know you met that night. Because if you do, 2 things happen. Either first you see Ashley, that's bad, or you come see me. Not as bad, but bad. So make a good choice. Before we finish and go on, do you want to ask Ashley any more questions about what happened in that video, the trauma that those children received, the treatment they had? Anybody? All right. Oh. Yes, sir.
Is it common for after an injury that you would have, after an accident like that, you would have the patients actually come back if they were to be rehabilitated from the hospital? Would it be quite common for them to come back to the hospital due to some other factors?
I think I get what you mean, absolutely. They're at risk for all kinds of infections. They're both seriously at risk for pneumonia. That's one of the most common things because your lungs have to work to stay clean and to not get infected. They're both sitting in bed all the time. They're prone to bed sores, which means your bones in your tailbone or your hips or your elbows, they sit on that skin too long and they create a sore. They're at risk for infection because they're in the hospital and there's lots of germs in a hospital. They probably have urinary catheters and they're at risk for urinary catheter related infections. If they do, we know that Sean doesn't make it home, but if Rob makes it home, he's got to keep moving and working those muscles. What he was doing in that video was working with some physical and occupational therapists to try and get his muscles working again, create that muscle memory to wash his face and brush his teeth. He's going to be in rehab and in therapy for a long time.
She's being nice. He is still there. He's in a vegetable state. She's being nice to you.
So
Sean's gone. Rob's a vegetable. Rob does not brush his own teeth still. Today. Doesn't get dressed. Today. One joint, one stop sign, one spring day. Hey, Judge Morrissey said it. Sometimes we speed. I get it. I'm coming to you, buddy. I get it. We all make mistakes. But just put those three things. 1 + 1 is 1 is 3. A joint, stop signs for speed. One of us is dead. 1, 1, 1. That's 3. Joint, stop sign, speed, dead. Like Fred. Dead. No more. I tell people come to my courtroom all the time. I have a chance to touch your life and make a difference. I may put you in jail, I may not. If I don't help you, if I don't get the resources to you, I have failed you. I have failed you. Because the next stop, the next time something happens, I have failed your parents. This is what I mean by that. If you come to my courtroom on a DWI case, you're smoking that weed, and I don't get you the right track that one first time, and you come back, odds are you come back either through that door or you go to Ashley, but if you see me, you're gonna go to jail. Your mom and dad are mad at me. If you don't go to jail, I really, really failed your parents, and you're dead. It's on my conscience. I sincerely mean that. Mr. Carad's over here, Ms. Wisner, they're public defenders, and they're going to have some cases momentarily. But I think they can attest to the fact that, for me, first time you make a mistake, I get it, own it. You should get a second chance, sometimes a third chance. When you come back on probation, you've not done your end of the deal, get help, or you're still drinking or still smoking and driving, what's going to happen on a violent, Ms. Wisner? Yeah, you're going to go to jail. It's a motivator sometimes. Also, sometimes it saves your life. Because you come to my courtroom, and you're high, or you've been drunk, and you've been charged, and I don't get you the help, and you end up dead, I had a chance and I failed. And I tell your dad, hey, Ray, I didn't save your son that day. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shed a tear, I'm gonna do my job, but I failed. Take my job seriously, because I wanna help you all. We're gonna change gears in about 2 seconds. I'm gonna ask Mr. George to take the video down, turn the video off. We're going to do some real live cases. I'm going to ask Ms. Enzel, Ms. Wisner, Mr. Adams, Mr. Carrad to get cases together. We're going to turn all the video off. It's a crime to film the video, so please turn your phones off. Before I do that, I'm sorry, Ms. Ashley's here. I want to thank Ms. Ashley for coming in again today. She's done a fabulous job. Give her a hand of applause, all right? Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it. Lot. And I have a lot of questions I want to ask you. Before we do that, I have one more piece I want to ask you to share with you. I've asked my friend Zach George to present a slideshow that he does and presented he's made that I want you to pay attention to. And yes, you heard me say it. His name is Zach George. His sister is Ashley George. His father is Mr. George. His mom is there. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. I consider this a family affair. My dad was here. He might still be. I don't know. He might have left. I got angry when I did something. I don't know. But they're on purpose because family is important. And I say it in my house all the time. Cook, you say it all the time. Family first. Family first. This is my work family. They're right here. Zach's not my son. Like a son to me. Wes is here somewhere. I don't know where Wes went. I was thinking the other night, I was up at 2:17 to this morning. I was thinking 2:17, I was up, and I wrote some notes. Bobby, I forgot the chairs. Bobby had him already here. I was thinking, I've known your ugly butt for 21 years. 21 years I've known your ugly face. Like family to me. I tell you that because you have friends here now. And these are the best years of your life right now, I think. Elementary was cool, middle school was all right, high school was good. Have fun, enjoy it. But right now you got high school friends, like your family. Mr. Cook's your teacher. You all have HD with him, right? He might be a jerk sometimes, push y'all a little bit, but I guarantee you he's like family. Y'all play sport together? I didn't know that. Y'all might hate each other on the field because defense wins championship, not offense. Don't care what he says. But off the field, you're still family. Y'all over here hang out with each other. I know y'all do because y'all be talking all night. But you're still family. I tell you that because my George family is here because it's important for you to know how important we all think family is. That young lady right here, her mom is here. It's important. Family's important. I like you, I don't love you. Not yet. They love him and they love her. That mom loves her. Chemo and treatment, she's gonna get up out of bed and come get you. I promise you that. I agree with the mom. I agree with the mom. You call me, I might let you sit in jail for a minute, but I'll come get you. Any one of you. Any one of you in this room. I'll be late. Your mom and dad will be there in a hurry, fast and in a hurry. Frankly, I bet you Mr. Hood would come get some of you. All of you over here. Would you? Would you? Mr. Runner might come get the rest of y'all. I think. You have to ask. You have to ask. Zach's here, and I want Zach to tell you something he's experienced. Zach is not much older than you. Zach is now doing grown stuff because Zach's a little bit older than you. He's now an adult, at least in the law's eyes. He's still Lynn's baby. But Zach experienced something that I think that will impress upon you the importance of making some good choices. Zach is my friend. I consider him, he's been around now. My son now. Can I live with you? Yeah, y'all could adopt me. I could live in your house.
No way.
You think about that. Ashley might get drunk tonight and we'll have to call you. Listen to me. I want you to listen to what Zach has to say, because this, in all seriousness, this is reality. This is something that transpired, someone like you, not long ago, and it's tragic. I can't make it up. I can't even pretend that it's not real. Zach.
Hello, my name is Zach George. As Judge Spencer said, I'm 20 years old. I graduated from Kent Island High School in 2015. I've been a member with Kent Island Volunteer Fire Department for the past 6 years. I'm a career firefighter with Prince George's County Fire Department. And I'm going to tell you today about a friend that I lost in a tragic car accident. But first, I'll tell you a little bit about a fire department. So in the fire department, the things that we see are kind of messed up, you could say, but the way that we get through it is venting to each other, hanging out with each other. We're essentially another family. So you hear somebody say, it's a brotherhood. Well, truly it is. We go to everybody's weddings together. We go out to dinner to eat together almost every night. We hang out together all the time. Anytime we go to the mall, go to the movies, whatever, there's 10 of us coming down the road and we're all together. Here you see Brother Thorgachni, which is an old Irish language, and it means brotherhood above all else. So we honor that brotherhood like a second family. No matter what our plans, if another friend needs us, we're there at an instant. Judge Spencer said, Mom and Dad will come get you if you're drunk. Mom and Dad will come get you if you can't drive, whatever. In the fire department, you call a friend before you call Mom and Dad, hopefully, because then we won't get in trouble. But they need us, we're there. It doesn't matter what it is. This is a friend of mine, Tyler Elsie. I was in the fire department with him for 2 years. He was 19 years old when he passed away. I remember when he got this picture, we always used to mess with him about it. This picture was in the newspaper he got Firefighter of the Year, which is like a big award saying that you were the most outspoken firefighter. Among the rest of them, you did the most, and they saw you, the chiefs saw you as standing to a higher level and leading the others. So he got this his senior year of high school. This is a bunch of the other guys at the firehouse. It's our man cave. We sit up in the loft of the firehouse and hang out and talk and wait for calls. These are 3 of the other boys that were in the car with Tyler. Corey, Mike, and Harrison. They all graduated together. They grew up together since they were 2 or 3 years old. They spent the majority of their life together, but they kind of got a little bit separated. And unfortunately, they were all hanging out together that day, trying to get back together. And when this accident happened. This is at the scene of the accident. There was an elderly gentleman in this car here, the black car. The 4 boys were in the silver car. The elderly gentleman was flown to shock trauma. He had lacerations and broken arm. When we got the call, it was April 10th. It was a warm spring day. We were all hanging out, grilling on the grill, playing basketball. We got a call for a motor vehicle collision just down the road. And I remember coming down the road, putting my coat on and my helmet and my gloves. And another member came over and said that there were 4 young boys in the car and they were injured pretty bad. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh man, there's going to be 4 pediatrics, like little kids in the car. They didn't mention how old, they just told us they were young kids. And before we arrived on the scene, they told us they pronounced one of them dead already. So we get to the scene and we saw the mashup of all the cars. And it just clicks in, you don't think about it. Okay, I've got to do this. I've got to set up stabilization. We got to get ready to cut these people out of this car. We got to get the medics in there so they can start their stuff. This, that, the other. We got to call a helicopter. Blah, 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 blah. And you don't think about anything. But when we peeled the top off of that car, it felt like everything just froze. Because the first thing that we saw was this t-shirt laid over in the front seat. We knew that was one of us. They said he was doing approximately, you see how steep that curve is right there. I think they said he was doing between 90 and 130 around that turf. None of them were wearing seatbelts. No drinking, no smoking. They didn't do anything else. They were just going a little bit too fast and they weren't wearing their seatbelts. This lady in the floral shirt is Tyler's mom. She was on the scene when they pronounced their son dead. I don't know how she found out, and I don't know why she was there or why they even let her come there. But these medics here are taking care of her, trying to keep her from fainting. She fainted multiple times. There's the car. So during the impact, when we first got the roof off of the car, we realized that we could see 3 victims. There was the driver and 2 backseat passengers. We had no clue that there was another victim in this compartment here. And the reason being because the impact was so great and the speed was so great that this car had pinched the sidewall of the silver car all the way into the radio and pushed the passenger down and crunched the car around him. So until we started assessing the other 3 patients, when we had crawled over and we seen hair, a circular hair structure wrapped around in this metal, we realized that there was another victim in there that we needed to extricate. There's the sidewall of the car there. The back seat on the driver's side and the middle seat, and as you can see, there's no passenger seat here. It had crunched it all the way into the center of the car. So essentially the car was crunched in half from its original size. There you can see it there. Here's the e-brake, and there's the side of the car. It's probably about this much space in between the side of the car. And here's the radio and where the door is. These are the shoes that Tyler was wearing, and the reason that I show this picture is because to show you what lengths we went to get his body out of this car. We literally had to cut the seats out of the car and essentially cut the car into pieces before we could we had to pull the car away from him. We couldn't pull him away from the car. So they had to cut the seat out of the car, and they had to spread the side of the car away from the seat. He was wrapped up in the side of the car, and they couldn't get his shoes out. They could barely get his feet out of his shoes. So the town that I come from is really a tight-knit group together. Everybody cares about everybody. Kind of a bad thing. Everybody knows everybody's business. But we all gathered that night to have a lighting ceremony for the 4 boys that had passed away. All 4 of them graduated from Kanawha High School. So we went in the football stadium, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people there to come support. The boy Mike, that's his brother and his dad. This is Tyler's mom and his stepdad. That's the fire department there kneeling down, saying their last goodbyes to him. We put up crosses where they had perished. Everybody could come by and say hello when they felt it was needed. This is a portion of the list of injuries that Tyler had. Several skull fractures, completely severed spinal cord and brain stem, massive brain hemorrhage, so big brain bleed, like Ashley was talking about earlier. Broken jaw, broken teeth, his heart was ruptured, crushed chest with blood in the chest cavity and in his lungs, fractured right arm, fractured pelvis, lacerated spleen, liver, kidney, bowel, and stomach. Both his right and left femurs had multiple fractures, and his left leg was pulverized, both the bone and the muscle. I think he was 6'2" before the accident, and after the accident, they measured him out at 5'8". And if you guys have never seen a dead body before, feel free to look away, but I'm going to show you a picture of him after his accident, after the coroners tried to doctor him up. They had to show me a picture of this before I went to the casket to stand guard at his casket because they told me I wasn't going to recognize him. So take a good look at him here. I'll show you another picture of him before his accident. That's before his accident. This picture here is not the brother that I knew and loved. That's the brother that I knew and loved. Having to stand next to his mother and his brother and salute while they played his last tones and put him in the ground, having to bury a brother of mine, having to watch a brother of his just destroyed because of the loss of his 19-year-old brother, something that I wouldn't ask any parent or any brother to experience. I sure as hell wouldn't want my mom to be told that I had passed away in a car accident. And I wouldn't want any of my brothers to stand over my grave and salute me because I'm going to be there when they go. I don't want to be the first one to go. Just because of a seatbelt, because he didn't put a seatbelt on. Now he's dead. I'll never see him again.
Always on purpose is Zach the last person to address anybody in this courtroom when we have this program. Always on purpose. I can't make this up. He is you. He's 2 years older than some of you. And as I listened to Zach, I saw you guys watch the shock trauma video, but as Zach talked and spoke, and you saw the video, the pictures of Elsie, as you saw the car, I saw you all, most of you, lean up and see it. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. And I think it takes courage. Courage is the word I'm going to choose for Zach to stand here. And I asked him to do it every time I get to do the program. And every time Zach speaks about Elsie, Zach tears up and cries in this courtroom. He's a big boy. He's not a small 5-year-old anymore, not the man I met or the young man I met years ago. He's now 19 and a professional. speaking to you from the heart about somebody who's just like all of you. LD wasn't high. He wasn't drunk, wasn't using any narcotic, just driving in a car. Driving the car with no seatbelt. I've asked you all day to do things, make some choices. You all either get in the car and ride or you drive. Make a good choice to get in there and put your seatbelt on. I saw Zach turn around and I looked at his mom and I knew where it was going. I know that, I see how this story ends every time because I'm always here. But I want you guys to imagine yourselves either going to an accident or going to school and seeing somebody there wearing that Glen Burnie high school shirt or that Chesapeake or that Creek or Arundel. I joked earlier about that, but be proud. But as you're proud, think about it. Think about going to some funeral home and seeing that emblem, that gopher, that wildcat, that cougar, that eagle emblem on one of your peers in the casket. I'm not about doom and gloom, but I want to be real. Today, you've seen a lot. We've seen a lot today. Weed killed somebody. Speed killed somebody. Liquor put somebody in jail. Choices. You're all going to leave here and do your own thing. I may see some of you on the street. You may say hi to me, you may not. I hope to never see you doing my day job. This is not my day job right here. This is my part-time job. This is what I do for fun. When I go back to put my robe on, my dress, I call it, that's my day job. My part-time job. My full-time job is raising my 3 kids. You are all children. I'm a child. My dad was here. I don't know where he went. And Zach just said it, and I saw him look over, and he got more teary-eyed when he saw his mom crying. Because we as kids should never make our parents cry. You're in a casket, your parents are going to cry. You're in the hospital, your parents are going to cry. You're in jail, they might cry, might be angry. You make a mistake, but you own it, might be angry, but they're not crying, and you're not dead. Now, we're almost done. Before I let you escape us, we did a lot with the cases today that you saw. The lawyers are still here. They're going to come up here behind me in 2 seconds. If you have any questions about the cases or what happened or why it happened, please ask them. I saw some folks go to jail. Well, I guess I sent them to jail. I saw some folks come in with alcohol-related offenses. I don't know what your questions are, but if you have questions about the lawyers or why they did what they did, I know you guys at Glen Burnie are working on your mock trial soon and maybe plea negotiations. If you have questions about what happened and why it happened, please ask the lawyers. They're here. That's their job. Answer your questions for you. Questions of Zach about what happened with LZ. He's here for all day. So is Ashley here behind me. So if you have questions, please ask them now. That's what we're here for to help you make some choices going forward that are right and better and improving your going forward chances. Anybody have a question of a lawyer why the case did what they did or how they did it? Anybody? Don't be shy now. Nobody? You want to know? Yes, sir.
I got a question. You were talking about moving cases over to the federal level with the heroin because of the mandatory minimums.
Yeah, or just a different sentencing structure, sure.
Well, that's become an issue. We talked about in criminal justice about the idea of mandatory minimums, whether they were justified or not. You know, 12 years for a specific drug or a specific offense. Why heroin and maybe not some of the other narcotics that you would push on to the federal level?
Well, for one, it's the way that we're trying to attack the particular issue right now. We have such a large amount of deaths that are occurring from the heroin, and then from what's being pushed as heroin or counterfeit heroin, that we have to come up with every different manner of attacking it. So for me, when I have an issue, I'm going to use the tools that I have at my state level, but if I can't come up with something that's going to deter a set of actions, and I have the opportunity to use the leverage of the federal system, who will give me a stronger sentence, and who, when you get a sentence, you serve a larger percentage of your time, I'm going to take advantage of that, because in the end, the people that I'm targeting are the people who are distributing really what's killing people around the county, and my responsibility to the county is to make sure that I keep people alive. So that is why I would take advantage of it. And I'm all for mandatory minimums. I think they serve a deterrent effect, and I'll use them at any time that I can.
Do you agree? You agree? Mandatory minimums of deterrence?
In terms of deterrence, I think it does have an impact.
That's the other side of the table. That's the public defender saying that. Any more questions?
And guys, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know, these cases that you saw today, this isn't, we didn't make this up. These are cases that I pulled from my dockets. I work here, my office is on the 3rd floor. I handle dockets every day, and the way we found these cases was I pulled these out of my own dockets. I had talked to a couple of these defendants in court and asked them to participate in the program. So this is real, and these are real cases. This is real stuff. So I just wanted to let you know.
Ms. Enzo, I'm glad you said that. I had a note up there I wanted to ask or speak to. And that was Mr. Milton. Did you? I don't know if you in the back heard the courtroom heard when they read the facts that Mr. Milton, he was underage with his friends at the beach drinking, having a good time. I'm all about hanging out at the beach, having a good time. Don't drink. But listen to me. What the state told me was that somebody else filmed it, right? Filmed it. I guess for trial you had that, right?
Yes.
You would have subpoenaed that video?
Yep.
So you have your little phones. I got my phones in here. I don't turn it on when I'm in court, but I guarantee you, you're walking around filming whatever you want to film, Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff. These two over here are going to get a subpoena. They're going to go to Verizon and get whatever's in your phone. They're going to give it to the court. So you're walking around, you're videotaping yourselves. Be smart. Be smart. What happens if I send a naked picture of myself to some other person about that? What happens there?
Depends on how old you are.
What if I'm like 15 and I send it to someone who's 21?
Distribution of child pornography.
Weird.
10-year felony.
Ladies.
25-year sexual.
Ladies, I'm talking to all my ladies in the courtroom right now, all of you. Listen to me. Listen to me. You might have a boyfriend. He might like you a lot. He may take you to the prom. He may buy you some candy, a rose, a ring, some clothes. I don't know what. Listen to me. You don't love that dude. You do not. I forbid it, and you do not love that dude. You do not love him. No matter what he says, you don't love him. And fellas, she's beautiful, she's fine, she is the queen of your world. You don't love her yet. You ain't old enough to love her yet. I tell my family, I tell my daughter, I tell my nieces, I tell Miss Enzel, and she didn't even work for me. You don't love nobody till you're 30 years old. That's when you can get married in my eyes, all right? Make some sense. 30. 30. So even if he tells you he loves you, do not send him a picture. Do not send him a picture. You don't love him. You like him, but you don't love him. You don't love him, not yet.
I think you had
a question?
Off what you were saying, it's funny because I talked to Hood earlier. My 15-year-old nephew got in trouble sending stuff back and forth, and I've heard you speak at a rumble before.
Yep.
And I ran him through the ringer about that.
Yep.
Even if they're both 15, it could be.
There's no consent. There's no I love you exception. There's no we're going out. It's nothing. It's just if you're that age and you're sending it, it is what it is. It's.
And my question is, I noticed that none of the defendants spoke on their own behalf. I'm hoping none of my students ever get in the situation where they're in front of a judge. But I personally, I feel hearing it from the horse's mouth would benefit somebody.
Let me ask you a question. You been in court before?
Yes.
You been in jail before?
No.
Good answer. I'm gonna let the lawyer speak to it. In my experience, sitting where I sit, standing here, especially with this courtroom full, with that man behind you, handcuffs in his pocket, and that door, you know where that door goes?
Yeah.
People get a little anxious and nervous. Now, and they don't often speak. No, they don't always speak. And I don't hold that against that person because they always tell them they have the right to speak. We call it allocution. But standing here and all eyes are on me and I know that he's walking behind me and that I hear the click of his, it gets a little dicey up here. Don't get me wrong. I will, even though she asked, do you want to say anything? They say nothing. I will then engage sometimes. And I'm like you. I want to hear from the horse's mouth. And if I walked over and I slapped Mr. Adams in the face because he wore a red tie and I wore a red tie, today's my day for red, not his, FYI. If he wore a red tie, smack him in the face. I want to hear this person who did the wrong own the mistake. Your Honor, I am sorry. I smacked Mr. Adams in the face. It was out of pure anger because he broke the deal. But I apologize. I want to hear the apology as a judge. You heard me say it earlier. You're going to make a mistake, own it, and then make it right. And by making it right, apologize. Say I'm sorry. Just say I'm sorry. It goes a long way for those people who sit up there. But to answer your question, sometimes standing here, I think people get nervous, and I can't hold that against them because they don't have to tell me anything. And that's what they pay these lawyers to do, that proverbial mouthpiece. And Ms. Enzo speaks to the state, or on behalf of the state, to tell them what we should do as a judge, prosecute, put them in jail. But Ms. Wisner and Mr. Crod, they speak to the personal side of it and try and make it personal, I believe, so we understand what the backstory is, so we can do sometimes what's best for the person. I put some people in jail today, and no one asked why, and I said a weekend. Normally put people in jail for a weekend, it's a Friday to a Sunday. And the young lady, Mr. Adams asked—
Marinucci?
No, Debria Williams.
Debria Williams.
Asked for jail. And I should put her probably in jail. It's employee theft. And ironically, she's gone now, but ironically, I thought she was a student. And I was shaking my hands like, how is this student driving a Land Rover? I'm driving my 2003 Chevy. But you heard her, she stole from her employer. She probably should go to jail. My problem becomes that she loses the 2 jobs she has now. She also then can't pay the restitution back to the company. So as opposed to putting her in jail right here, right now, I put her back on the street and encourage her to pay that restitution back so that company is whole. She doesn't lose her job. To me, that's motivating her, because I think once you go to jail, you don't want to go back. It's my opinion. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am. Offered?
Yes, there are times when we don't offer plea bargains, but it's usually pretty rare because, I mean, every trial comes, from our side, every trial comes with the inherent risk of a not guilty. Every trial from their side comes with the inherent risk of their client being convicted of the worst count and facing the maximum amount of time that a particular charge comes with it. So it's rare that we don't at least engage in some form of negotiations, but depending on the level of case, like here, we can usually make reasonable negotiations on the cases. When you start getting into things like murder, high-level distributions, the amount of time that would be acceptable to us as prosecutors is, they might as well roll the dice at trial to go to trial. So we might have a quick discussion about whether or not it's even on the table, but that gives you an idea of how it works.
One thing that I will say about plea negotiations, earlier came up your interactions with the police officers. The negotiations aren't just with the state. There's a lot of times the state has one offer, and I'll go and I'll talk with the police officer and I'll say, hey, was my client cooperative that night? Was he kind to you? Was he polite? The officer sometimes will help me with negotiations with the state sometimes, and just by going up and saying he was polite, he was cooperative, that can help. Even if the example that Judge Morrissey gave at the beginning, the person who forgot their speeding ticket, he's dead to right guilty of driving on a suspended license. Sometimes it can help if you were polite and cooperative with the officer. So it does go a long way. The choices that you make the evening when something goes wrong can help out later on in those plea negotiations.
And it also cuts the opposite way. If the officer comes up to me when he's checking in and says this person was a huge jerk, they really made this difficult, and he was terrible, I'm going to ask for jail, because I don't think that's acceptable to treat our police officers that way. Whereas if Ms. Wisner was able to come up to me and say, hey, he was very polite, speak to the police officer who said that he was very, he did everything he was asked to do, I might not be asking for jail. So that's something you want to keep in mind.
We've come full circle. And when we started, I asked you to listen, and we weren't going to be the fun place. We're talking about making choices. I want to think about a few things. I made fun of Mr. Adams about his tie. We have a running joke is that he always wears a red tie. Without fail, he wears a red tie. I guarantee Mr. Hood, next time, he has a red tie on. It drives me crazy. Think outside the box, Wes Adams. Put on a blue tie one time for me. I just asked him, but he never listens.
I'm going to bring you pictures of me wearing the yellow tie here.
I tell you that because it's a conscious choice he made. Will put on a tie today because he came into court. My man back there put on a bow tie. I noticed these things. They're small in nature, but I noticed these things. Anybody know what Sean was wearing? Sean from video, Shock Trauma video. How about Rob? What was Rob wearing?
Hospital gown.
Hospital gown. What was Elsie wearing? Yeah. Who chose Sean's gown? That's right. Who chose Elsie's shirt? Who said him? Who said you said it? Myrna, you said that? You said that? All right, well, one of y'all. You said it? Elsie chose his shirt? Yeah. Zach, did Elsie pick his shirt? Who picked it? He was dead, bro. No. Elsie, my man in the casket. Zach picked that shirt. Who chose, what's Marinucci, she back there?
Yeah.
Who's choosing Miss Marinucci's outfit for tomorrow?
DOC.
I did. I chose her outfit for tomorrow. I chose my red tie.
I chose my better red tie.
White shirt again, see? I can go outside the box. I got a white collar.
Apparently you like it so much that you're now copying it, so.
Are you wearing a blue suit?
Yeah, I am actually. It's navy blue pen.
I think outside of the box. I made my choice to wear my red tie. Next time I come, I'll wear a different tie. Elsie didn't pick his shirt. Sean didn't pick his shirt or his gown. Some of you guys have the benefit of playing sports and being good at it. You saw Sean and Rob up there. You saw Rob's PT. Y'all started, you know, I know about your school. Y'all started the boot camp thing already, Coach? Yesterday? Saw y'all running out there a mile or something. Listen to me. Y'all do that for fun. What's Rob's PT? What's Rob's exercise? Actually, were they doing that just to stretch his skin out, would you say?
To keep those muscles from dying.
That's his PT?
Yeah.
Don't let the nurse choose when you get to bend your arm. Who brushed Rob's teeth? I brushed my own this morning and shaved myself. Did you shave this morning? It's no shave-ember. Dude can't give the program. Listen to me. You got to choose. Make good choices. And when you make a bad one, own it and make it right. When you make a bad choice, make it right. Call your mom, call your dad, call your friend who's sober. I'm not saying you should drink. I'm not saying you should smoke. I'm also not naive. Worst case scenario, you come here and I got to choose for you. And if I choose for you, it might not end well for you. It might not end well for you. And by that I mean you go back that way. Simple, small choices. A little bit of marijuana in your bag or on your person is still a charge. A criminal charge, we had an example about the search being a bad search. If you're found not guilty, it goes away. You can have it expunged. You have marijuana on your person, you're charged, and you're found guilty, it's a civil infraction, and it never goes away. That means to you, you high school juniors and seniors who want to apply to college, when you apply for that federal grant, when you want to apply to school, they know about it. And if you have that conviction, let me ask you a question. Who are they going to pick? The dude with the weed? Do without the weed. Dude with the weed? Do without the weed. Who's getting the money? Financial aid or financial aid, no financial aid? I'm getting the money. Two athletes. He's bigger, stronger. He ain't faster. God help me. He ain't better faster than me. Come on, man. Let's be real. You're a great athlete, but you have that little bit of weed, or your friend does, you're with him, or you're with her, bad choice. Those small things, those small choices affect you going forward forever. I just beg you to make a good choice. I beg you. We're running a little bit late because we started late, so that's why I'm late, because I started late, whoever asked that question. I apologize to you. It's been fun. Do me a favor, when you get back to your schools, spread the word. One word, one person is good for me. Tell them see Mr. Hood for next year. Because I promise you, if Ms. Williams has your class, she won't be standing here, right? It's been a great time. I appreciate you guys coming in. We'll be here for a few minutes on your way out. If you have questions, ask the lawyers. But thank you very much for coming in today. Have a great day.